Hello everyone and welcome to the PDGA World Championships Day number 2 nightly recap. SmashBoxxTV, Johnny V, and myself, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. We're here at Stillwater Taproom in downtown Augusta. Hopefully everybody can hear us just fine. We'll look for feedback on the live chat.
There's a live band about 200 feet that way in another room, but we've got a door closed. I think the door is made of paper mache, is what I believe. It
works out really well. So hopefully everyone can hear us just fine. Again, excited to be here with you tonight. There's going to be plenty of spoilers. So if you want to wait for post-production coverage by the amazing Jomez Productions, by Central Coast, who helped us out here today, or by Prodigy, then you should probably tune out right now. Because we're going to talk scores, results, we're going to talk with players.
Show a little highlights.
Show some highlights, some lowlights. We've got action from Ricky Wysocki here today. I was covering the third card, trying to take in what I could. Johnny V was kind of roaming around, and then we also got some footage from Central Coast, who helped us out and provided us with a few Johnny McRae highlight pieces.
Yeah, so, we definitely did.
All right, well, that's what we've got going on here tonight. As I mentioned last night, we're also going to have Jeff Spring, who's your 2018 PDGA World's Tournament Director. He's going to join us. We've talked to the likes of Sarah Holcomb, possibly Philo, Simon. Any one or some or all or none of those people may drop in. So all I can do is say stay tuned to that.
That's
we'll have a few other topics and discussions. If you're watching us on Facebook, please enjoy it and continue to do so. If you want to interact with us directly, ask us questions or get clarification or something like that, provide any feedback to us, please log into YouTube and do it on our YouTube live chat. That's the best place to do it so we can keep track of what's going on there. So, seems like everyone can hear us. Seems like everything is good, and I'd like to thank Marty Gregoire, who's on the board. Marty helped us out with a couple graphics and organizing a number of things. So I'm going to start with a quick update. The tee times are posted, and what happens here is there's a shuffle. So they took everyone that played in the B pool or started in the B pool and the A pool, and now after 2 rounds they're able to compare the scores and collectively put them together. So some people that were in the B pool moved into the A pool and vice versa. Yeah. So please go out and check the PDGA.com, check the results and know where your tee time is. And if you look at it right now, the tee times are correct for tomorrow. They'll all be good to go, and make sure you know what course you're going to.
We made an off-camera wager last night about scores at this round.
That was actually on camera.
Was it on camera?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Oh, nice. Would you like to make another wager? How many players made it from the B pool to the A pool?
Wow. Yeah, I didn't actually look at that yet.
I know, so that's why I asked you. It would be no fun if you looked.
Yeah, it would. I'm going to say, part of me wants to say 4, but I'm going to be a little more generous and say 8. 8 players.
14. 14 players moved from the B pool to the A pool. It was the last person to go from B to A, Matt House, who's at 5 under par.
All right, Legacy Zone Matt House out of Oklahoma. Is he the prettiest guy on tour?
Not anymore.
Steve Story says he is.
Steve Story. He's got that long hair now that he kind of keeps a little unkempt when he's playing. And I only see him when he's playing, so, I mean, don't get me wrong.
If Fabio played disc golf,
it would be Matt House.
Oh, man. All right, well, nice work there, Matt House. We'll see you in the A pool tomorrow. Again, tomorrow, A pool is going to be playing back at the IDGC. That's where the A pool started the tournament. So tomorrow's A pool is back at the IDGC, and also, in case you weren't following along, the C pool, which is all of our professional women, they're also at the IDGC. And I think you can confirm, Johnny, per PDGA, tomorrow morning, just like opening day, the men are going to start out earlier, and then the women and the lead card of women and all of the women, that is, are going to be teeing out after the last card of men. So the women get a later start tomorrow.
That is correct. We did talk to Mike Downs a little earlier, and there was a slight issue with the tee times originally, where they did not give a break between the men and the women, which would have caused a problem because the the bottom card of women would have teed off right after the lead card of men. That can cause a real problem because of things like spectators. We know that lead card is probably going to have a pretty decent amount of spectators at it. So what they've done, if you happen to look a while ago, please go out and recheck. They've now added a 30-minute buffer between the bottom women's card and the lead men's card. So yeah, so we do have the women team off after all of the men.
All right, so tomorrow, IDGC back at it. Really excited to see what takes place. Of course, being 4 rounds, we don't need to beat that to death, but 4-round tournament, we are halfway through. I'll do the math for you guys. Halfway through the tournament right now. That's 50%, 2/4. So it's pretty exciting to see. We've got a tie on top of the men's leaderboard, and we're seeing Paige Pierce on the women's side try to reclaim the title she had a few years ago. So, but right on her heels is Valerie Jenkins. So I think why don't we go ahead and get right into the women's scores. We'll start with the women.
Sure.
Let's talk about the women's scores, some of the play that we saw over there. If you're waiting on leader card coverage, you're going to see that from Marty McFly and Prodigy. I believe that he was out there filming today. He'll have that posted, and I'm guessing if it's not late tonight, it probably should be first thing in the morning. But look for leader card of women's round number 2 to be posted tomorrow via the Prodigy page.
Yeah, and Marty can always get his stuff out a little faster because much like you were today, he's a one-camera guy. He's able to just pick the best shot wherever he's at, if it's behind the tee or if it's down the fairway, and then he can just edit one card together. So my guess is he's going to get it out by the end of the night.
Yeah, he's and he had a little bit earlier start as well, which is a little bit more helpful. So I think we should go ahead and just start out with looking at the women's lead card. Again, I just referenced her, Paige Pierce. She shoots a pretty scorching 6 under today to bring her total to 8 under par. We talked about this in the car on the way here. Opened with a 989 rated round, then followed up with a 992 rated round, so she's playing incredibly solid golf, and now she's busted out a 6-stroke lead right now over second place, who is Valerie Jenkins. So Val Jenkins, I believe, shot a 3 under today. She was sitting, of course, at 1 over. Now she's at, I guess my math doesn't make sense. Yeah, she was at 1 over. She shoots 3 under. That brings her to -2.
Got it.
Lisa Ficus, we'll see her back on the lead card tomorrow. She's got one of the most aggressive and confident putts that you see in the women's field, and I think that's carrying her through and through. She's currently sitting at even overall, shooting 2 down today. And then also on that women's lead card, our 2012 women's world champion, Sarah Hokum. She's sitting at +2. She's tied with Katrina Allen, but due to having the hotter round today by a stroke, she'll be on that women's lead card. So exciting. Again, Paige with what, 3 world championships, Valerie with 4, Sarah Hokum with 1. So 8 world titles among those 4 women tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a card to watch. I was able to, you dropped me off at a stoplight, thanks a lot for that, right in front of one of the women's cards. So I was able to jump out and kind of just get some highlights of that off and on. And I immediately walk up and watch Paige start crushing drives. I happened to catch them on some of the open longer holes, and she was just lacing. I mean, she was 50, 60 feet in front of almost every other woman on those drives. There's a reason why she's why she's beating the field by this much.
She's also your women's distance champion here at the Worlds this year, so just saying.
She's right here.
And she's right here.
Yeah, she just happened to walk in.
Oh, she's playing a little darts action up here.
Media blackout?
Media blackout. Media blackout.
But she is here.
But she's here. Everybody should know now. She's in the building.
Maybe I'll keep you updated on her dart game.
Yes. She's been pretty pinpoint accurate thus far this week. So, that's what you're going to see on the women's lead card. On the second card for the women's division, you're going to see world champion, 2014 world champion Katrina Allen. You're also going to see Hannah Leatherman along with Melody Wable. And it looks like Ragna Big D Lewis, who we had the interview and a few shots from yesterday. It's still very tight amongst them. Again, Katrina at +2. Hannah at +4, and Melody, Ragna, and Elaine King, all sitting at +6. So Elaine looks like she struggled a little bit today, and ultimately came in with a 67 and fell off the pace.
I walked past Elaine a few times. There was no way you could tell she was struggling. I mean, she's not the type to be outwardly obsessive about her game. She was cool and calm. It seemed like almost every women's card, other than the lead card, they were a little more serious. Most of the other women's cards were jovial and chatty. I sat and chatted with Kat, surprisingly. She has a tendency to be a little quieter on the course, but I walked up and she was joking around with me and just in general having a good time, it seemed like. So it was fun. The women's atmosphere is, even at Worlds, is different than the men's.
It certainly is, and it's great to see. It's obviously very competitive out here this week. Things are very tight. Not so much over at the dartboards. I see Robert McCall and Bobby Brown in the distance now. But we see that things are very tight among the women's division. But right now, Paige is in a great position. She is 6 strokes out in front of Valerie Jenkins. Val not ready to give up her title.
By no means is this event over. We've got 2 courses which really favor accuracy. So if anyone just happens to have an off couple holes, there goes your lead. So this is by no means over. It's going to be an exciting finish. I don't think we'll truly know who's going to win probably till about 9 holes to go. Maybe even less.
Yeah. As the famous Steve Dodge said, the person the most under par will be the winner. And
is that how that works?
That's what he informed me when he was commentating.
Okay, that's good.
So I'm taking a back seat from the commentary this week. I have to rely on the staples, and that's what Steve Dodge tells us.
Dodge is, as I heard someone say, Steve Dodge is the John Madden of disc golf.
Very impressive golf, again, on the women's side. We can move over to the men's side, and I think we obviously have to talk about, let's start with our leader going into the round. That's Johnny McRae. He had a 3-stroke lead going into the round. Of course, he had a pretty solid day out there today. Shot himself a pretty impressive 59, which is rated 1034, still above his rating. And he was officially caught.
He was. He had Rick. Well, we're going to show an interview with Johnny later where he gives a little joke about that. But I got to walk a lot with Johnny today, and it was one of the other things that was really interesting about today was that the lead card at Pro Worlds had the smallest gallery of the top 3. It was everybody wanted to see Ricky and everybody wanted to see Paul.
Well, to be fair, Ricky brings like 38 family members.
That's true.
His entire entourage.
That is true. But when I walked up to what I thought was the lead card, there was about 100 spectators. Turns out that was the second card with Barsby and I believe Simon and Paul. Behind them, the lead card had 8 spectators, 9. So Johnny was in his wheelhouse, because we know in the past Johnny hasn't always necessarily loved having media or spectators. They seem almost like a distraction to him, and I think he was in 7th heaven, because it was the most fun I think I've seen Johnny have in a long time, especially on a lead card. He had CCGG there, and then every once in a while I would pop in and get some footage. He was joking around, and he had one bad hole, I think it was 16 or 15, where he took a bogey. Other than that, Johnny was just pinpoint. He wasn't hitting big putts. He was just putting them under the pin. Other than I think 1 or 2 holes, I don't think he had a putt over 15 feet.
Well, he certainly got it done out there. Johnny quickly assembled some footage that we saw from Central Coast. Thank you to the entire crew, to Ian and Corey and just the whole crew that's out here, everybody that's out here. They span like 300 people. But thank you to everyone at Central Coast. The footage you're going to see is only available because of Central Coast collaborating with us and lending us those footage. Of course, they're putting together the entire round.
Correct.
Commentary by Ian and Corey, all the great amazing stuff that they do. But they lent us some clips so that Johnny could push them together here for us. And I think what we can do is we can show you right now the action from Johnny McRae. A little later, I'll be able to show you some Ricky Wysocki stuff. And here he is. Where's he at?
This is Johnny on hole 1 right here. Sorry, we got a little error on the thing. So this is Johnny on hole 1. He basically leading off the tournament, catches a little bit of roughage on the side. He started out a little slow, I'll say in quotes. He did not birdie either the first 2 holes, and both of them were, he had an opportunity at both of them. He missed some longer putts. So what you're going to see here is his approach. That's his approach on 1.
Since there's a loud audio jump real quick as we're looking at this. I don't know, said the darts got way louder.
I'm not sure why that would be. So it might be Johnny's. It might be actually the footage is kind of loud itself. I can knock down the sound of the footage.
Johnny, we just got off the course.
That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry.
We'll start back here. We got Johnny on hole 1. We'll be able to play that through.
Yeah, we'll play that
Sounds
through
like
again.
The audio is just too loud for everyone.
It's too loud for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like the audio in general jumped up with our audio underneath of it. So sorry about that, guys. Again, this is Johnny's approach on 1. He had an opportunity at a birdie, as you're going to see from here. He put himself. It wasn't a great drive because he caught the stuff on the right. He throws up a big, massive Anheuser, leaves himself about 50 short. Now, Johnny can hit this putt any given day, but as I think most people have seen, he comes up just a hair short. So this is one of those shots he could have birdied, but I think he was pretty happy to get the par, just front of the rim. I mean, it was so close.
Solid run for sure.
Oh, it was definitely a solid run. This is his result. I kept it in there because I like watching him throw those upside down turbos. Yeah. I just think they're gonna spit. I believe this is hole 2.
Yeah, it looks like hole.
Yeah, this is hole 2, as the thing says. He again throws a big drive. This is another par 4. Is that right, Terry?
No, hole 2 is actually one of the shorter holes out here.
Oh, yeah. Again,
because it's just perched on this mound.
Yeah, he's just outside of the circle here. Again, with another chance for a birdie. And if you look at the live scoring, I'll tell you, it's a spoiler. He doesn't make it.
Wow.
He once again, he just kind of. As you're going to see it, we'll wait till everyone sees.
You're not good at that spoiler timing.
Just wide right. He hits the right side of the cage and falls. So those are 2 strokes that he could have had. One more than the other. We've jumped over to hole 4. Hole 4 was Johnny's. It was his first birdie of the round, basically. Okay. He throws one out to the field here. He's still got himself a ways to go. I saw Johnny throw more big flex shots like that than I've seen in a long time. He just doesn't have the distance someone like Chris Dickerson on his card does.
Well, and Megan on the board, or Maiden, talks about the wind. That's one thing I'll talk about is we're watching him throw this huge tee shot here
on hole 7.
On hole 7, there was no wind out there. Everybody was praying for a 2 to 10 mile an hour wind because that would help keep the gnats out of your face.
Oh my gosh, were they bad?
They were. Steve Rico and Josh Anthon told me earlier in the week. They said that is the biggest obstacle on that course. Besides the distance and the challenge and the heat, they said the gnats are a natural obstacle.
I went Facebook Live for a few holes, and this is Johnny's birdie putt on 11. 11 is a downhill shot. It plays, I think, about 380 feet. Is that hole 11, or is hole 11 the shorter one?
No, hole 10. I think you're.
I might be confusing 10 and 11.
I'm trying to get a confirmation on this. I think now we're looking at 11's second shot.
This would be 12's second shot, actually. Right here, this is Johnny for birdie again. Like I said, he didn't really have many long putts. Most of his putts were 15 to 20 feet or inside of that. Hole 13, he leaves himself only about 15 feet away. You can actually see me in the background there. We chose not to use my footage. We're using CCDG's, which is probably for the best. Johnny just kind of, he worked his way through the course, just like he should with his accuracy and the distances. So hole 16 was kind of a rough one for Johnny. This is him for birdie. 16 is a sharp downhill hyzer. Plays 380, but you really need to cut it hard left. You need to beat, there's a tree on one single pine on the right. He makes a run. He not only does he hit the tree, he rolls about 35 feet into the woods. This was the one spot that I saw him get a little frustrated at. And no doubt, this basket treated everyone in their group horribly. I don't believe there was a single par on this hole.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there might have been one, but Michael Joe chained out, Chris Dickerson chained out, Cam Todd I think took a 4 or 5, and so now we're on hole 18. Hole 18 is a 1,000-foot hole to finish off the tournament. He throws basically what was just a big Anheuser. He threw another approach shot. That was actually his 3rd shot. He leaves himself again right where he needs to be with a 15-footer for for birdie to finish off his round. And he was pumped. You could kind of as pumped as Johnny can be. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, very impressive by Johnny McRae. Looks like he had a really good time out there today. What we're also going to then show you in a little while is I've got some of the shots that came in from Ricky Wysocki's card. And I know I put a post out there earlier today on Facebook. Some of you saw it, some of you didn't. The intent of me going out and following around the 3rd card today was in hopes of gaining some more footage for tonight, to have a few highlights and some other shots and other things to talk about. I didn't go out there today with the intent of capturing the round and then post-producing the entire round, because we're here to do this.
Correct.
But now, Ricky goes out and shoots the hottest round of the tournament. It may or may not end up being a course record that stands. We'll see come Saturday. So at some point, I will edit together the entire round and provide it to you guys.
The entire round? We talked about maybe just a Ricky round.
There could be a Ricky round, but we'll see. It may be a Ricky round, or it may be all 4 of the players. At some point, I will edit that together. It will not be this week. So please, I know someone just asked on the board. I tried to kind of thwart that idea earlier today. We have a million things going on, and I wasn't here to do the post-production, so don't count on his entire round, all right? But we will show you some snippets of it tonight, and we'll be able to break it down. Johnny V kind of saw what happened on Johnny McRae's round. I kind of saw what happened on Ricky's round. So a little later in the show, when we show you some of Ricky's action, we'll be able to walk you through that.
Do we want to have a quick? Want to show the quick interview that Johnny gave after the round?
Let's do it. You caught up with Johnny McRae after the round, and had a few words with him. What did he say?
Hey Johnny, we just got off the course. You are currently tied for the lead with Ricky Wysocki. What do you attribute that to this round?
Ricky shot really well, and he caught up to me.
Caught up to you?
Yeah, and I don't know what, I didn't get to see him play, but I'm sure he must have shot really well, which I'm glad. So glad I get to play with Rick, and that's what this is all about, is playing with the best players in the world and trying to do your best. So I'm excited. I'm ready for tomorrow. I got a game plan, and I'm ready to go.
All right. The weather. There's been a lot of talk about the weather. Do you feel like it's giving you any sort of advantage over the other players, because you're used to this type of humidity and heat?
Yeah, I don't know if it gives me an advantage, but it's beautiful out. It's nice. It's not even hot, really. Everybody who thinks it's hot, it's in the 80s. It's not even in the 90s, so it's not even really hot. So yeah, I hope it turns up to about 95. That'd be great. Let's go.
All right. Thanks a lot.
If you couldn't hear that, the microphone that we used is meant not exactly for interviews, so it was a quick on-the-course interview. We'll play it again later, maybe see if we can jack up the audio a little more.
What we'll do, kind of as we did last night, for those who are either coming in late or are just jacked about seeing footage, at the end of the night, maybe what we'll do is we'll play the Johnny McRae piece, then we'll play the interview, and then we'll play the Ricky Wysocki piece as a second through, so that all of those pieces will be put together at the end of the entire night. So
the other thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of the individual pieces, I'm going to upload them to the Patreon. So we'll put them out for our patrons to view separately, so you guys can get a look at that, and it'll be exclusive to you guys at patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
There you go. And yes, Scott Elam had mentioned on the board, it's something we talked about last night off camera, is exactly just that, the latitude domination right now on top of that leaderboard.
Yeah, there was some question at the very end who was going to be the 4th spot, but we're going to have a latitude 64 foursome.
We are. Ricky Wysocki, Johnny McRae, of course, both tied at 20 under. Devin Owens at 17 under par, the lefty. And then Cameron Colglazer also. So the top 4 spots are currently being held by Latitude 64 players. I should say a tie for that 4th spot also includes Adam Hamies out of Minocqua, Wisconsin, represents Sandy Point and Lac du Flambeau, Simon Lizotte, and Paul Macbeth, Eagle McMahon, and Chris Dickerson. So there's a massive tie for that 4th spot. Colglazer had the hottest round. Well, he had a 58 today, as did Hamies. Then he had a 62 yesterday, as did Hamies. And then the tiebreaker is, in fact, your PDGA number. The lower PDGA number. That's why we're going to see Cameron Colglazer on the lead card tomorrow. So
I thought it was because Latitude Gates slipped a little cash to the PDGA.
There's all sorts of rumors we can start.
Well, I'm good. I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
All right. Well, so what we are going to do now is I think we're going to let Johnny B step out for a moment.
I'll play some darts. I have a few drinks. I'll have Jeff Spring sit down here.
And we are going to have Jeff Spring join us. Jeff's going to put on that nifty microphone.
Right here.
Last night, I know we spoke with Dynamic Disown Jeremy Rusko. He was the 2016 overseer, we'll say, of the Worlds, although Doug Bjerkes was your official TD. And now, welcoming to the show to Smashbox is Jeff Spring. And Jeff, how are we doing?
I'm doing great, Terry. How are you?
Sweating here in Augusta.
Oh, yeah.
So before we get to Worlds and next year in Vermont and all the amazing stuff over at Smuggler's Notch, this week you're taking it in, I'm sure. You're having meetings, but you're also on the bag?
I'm on the bag. I'm on the bag of Nate Doss.
Nate Doss, okay.
It's pretty special to be on the bag of a 3-time champ. He's a consummate professional, as you know, Terry.
Yes.
And I was on the bag last year for Nate at the USDGC, and he had a great showing there, even though it was rain shortened.
Okay.
However, you know, he's a great golfer, a great caddy for, a good friend of mine, and it's shaping up to be a great week with him.
Good, awesome. You've also caddied for the likes of Steve Brinster?
Yeah, so I've caddied for Steve more than anyone else. Really, Steve and Nate. They're both good friends. Happy to caddy for both of them. Although my claim to fame is being on the bag when Steve won the 2013 USDGC. And that was really the start of a great friendship between Steve and I, and it was a special week because, you know, I think the story should be told maybe by Smashbox, but you know, early that year he was injured, and he barely made it back to health in order to compete in that tournament, and then the performance he put on was something really special, and one of those human interest stories that I think we can really tell well for disc golf.
Well, certainly, and what I'll say is Steve has played a lot of years. His PDGA number is actually just about 100 off of mine, 110. He
started at the same time.
He's 10.628, I'm 10.738. But Steve had never won the USDGC, and then you're on the bag and he wins. I mean, that's the story. I'm just saying.
I don't know if that's actually the story.
All right. Well,
I was happy to help, but you know, Steve had his game plan. I was basically there to carry his bag at that moment in time, but you know, hopefully I was a steadying presence and just able to keep him positive because, you know, he's an amazing golfer. He's absolutely one of the best golfers in the world. He's got one of the best pure like form, strokes, throws, whatever you want to call it, and at any moment he can throw the best round of the best field of disc golfers in my opinion. So he's always someone to look out for, even though he has a whole another job, his whole family life, and he still comes out and throws always in the top 20, if not 10, you know, at all the events he's at. So.
Well, and even with that compact stature he's got, he's out there out driving so many of the other young guns.
All about the lower body, baby.
He's got it down. So, and a huge shout out as well, Marty Gregoire, media manager over at the PDGA, says you were also doing some Instagramming and some live scoring today. So That's right. I mean, my main motivation in being down here is to, you know, get more experience. This is my 3rd World Championship that I've been at. I was able to go to Portland, which was just an incredible first Worlds experience for me. Yeah. I was able to go to Pittsburgh. Yep. Last year, I really wanted to go to Emporia.
but I decided to go instead to Stockholm, Sweden, and taking Järva. That was my choice. You know, I had one trip to choose, and it aligned, the stars aligned, and I was able to see Järva, which was absolutely beautiful. But down here, you know, I'm really trying to take it in. TD Worlds in 2018. So I'm able to help the PDGA. I was able to be the official TD of the Mini Disc Golf World Championship,
which we talked about last night.
Yes, absolutely.
Sounds like that went down in high drama.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that as well. But you know, to Marty's point, you know, I love learning more about the social media aspects and like what we can do to improve the exposure of the event. So while I was out there on Nate's bag, I definitely was live scoring, recording some video, putting it up on PDGA, Instagram, that kind of stuff, and awesome. You know, it all adds into the overall views and the overall exposure of the event. So
okay, well, speaking of views and beauty and just amazing venues and places, Smuggler's Notch is where you work. You brought, sounds like a discrepancy there, but Smuggler's Notch is where you work, and you've brought disc golf and two amazing courses ultimately to the Smuggler's Notch facility. We've seen the Green Mountain Championships. You're going to see it again in a few months, and then now you guys are all geared up for Worlds in 2018. I don't need a sales pitch, but tell everyone else why they need to come to Smuggler's Notch for Worlds next year.
Well, I'd say even
to play or to just to visit, to watch.
Yeah, to visit. You know, our Green Mountain Championship has grown into a popular event regionally in New England, and then you know even throughout the country. So we have people from all across the country coming, and a lot of people come up to me and say, "Oh, I didn't get in because it filled so quickly." I always say that's no reason not to come, because there's a lot of reasons to just be there for the event in general. And we're really pushing a lodging package that's affordable for all spectators. Smuggler's Notch is, I could go on and on about it, just as a resort. You know, I work there full-time year-round. In the winter, I'm the director of the ski and ride school. In the summer, disc golf is one of my many duties, but you know, the tagline is America's Family Resort. And actually, after a couple years of this event, we've had players come and then bring their families back the next year, because we have childcare services, we have condos that are just perfectly suited for the family, everything that you need there. But then also at the event, we provide a ton of different services and events before and after. So it's part of a fall festival that we do called Smugs Fall Fest. We have live music for 2 nights. We have Craft Beer Fest featuring Fiddlehead Brewery, which is one of the top breweries in the state. And then we also have local food and a bunch of other adventures, mountain biking, kayaking, hiking, and that all is designed to draw in people and draw in spectators and create a great experience. So then they come out to those final rounds of the disc golf event and create a nice gallery, but also just, you know, their presence supports the event. So.
Well, and one of the things that we were talking about, we ran into each other the other night as we were both in town, got into town, and this year the PDGA adopted the new policy and the new format of 4 rounds, and it's probably the most debated topic out there in disc golf right now, is the 4 rounds of disc golf for the World Championship. Well, that and people complaining we can't be live, but we'll fix that at Smugs. So I
would like to just interject that we have great signal at Smugs.
They do.
Terry will be doing live broadcasting for the GMC.
Yes.
So make sure you watch.
Yes, exactly.
If you can't come, you should come. If you can't come, then watch.
Or if you're too lazy to get out of your condo while you're there.
Well, that was a problem. Many people that were at the resort actually did not come out because they had a great live broadcast to watch at the Pro Tour Finals last year, and they watched it from their condos because the condos were so nice. So it decreased the gallery, but I'm glad that we got the views.
Well, one of the things that, again, is this whole format, is that something that you feel like you have input on? Is that a conversation moving forward? Is that set in stone in terms? Because it really was talked about at a board level, and the likes of Avery Jenkins and some others, you know, some very you know, influential people have already kind of chimed in on this. Where do you stand on this?
So I think the opinion is wide-ranging, as you mentioned. You know, it's the first year of a separation and a change, and from from my perspective, this is a board level decision from the PDGA, but I think the PDGA board and the PDGA staff and the new executive director, Joe, are all open to reviewing what this event wraps up as and making a decision on how to best move forward. And I do feel like it's a great board, a great staff, and they're going to solicit my opinion. They're going to solicit the opinion of many pros. They're going to, you know, kind of reevaluate after this Worlds is over and move forward. So, you know, I feel like the decision was made and a course was plotted forward, and I would expect to keep moving in that direction of separated worlds, of 4 rounds. However, I think that everybody is reasonable and everyone wants to see, you know, what the consensus is, you know, moving forward. So, is it set in stone? I wouldn't say it's set in stone, but I would say it's in the hands of the PDGA, and I'm going to be happy to execute whatever that vision is from the board. So.
Okay. No, doesn't sound like a stand to me, but no, I'm just kidding.
Well,
no.
I'm not here to take a stand.
No, you're
I mean,
not.
if you want to know my personal opinion, you know, I think that there are good reasons for keeping it at 4 rounds. I think there are good reasons for, you know, extending it towards what Worlds has been. You hear a lot of opinions, as you've talked about. You know, Worlds was supposed to be a marathon. Worlds had a special feel to it. And then you also hear opinions that Worlds makes more sense to the spectator and media-wise at 4 rounds. It's easier for the competitors. And I feel like some of the long-term competitors really feel like this is the right course that's charted now, and that, you know, eventually over the years this is going to be paying us off, paying back, you know, to the PDGA. But you know, in our conversation last night, you know, I think that there is something to be said for the 5 rounds or the 6 rounds or the 5 or 6 rounds in a final 9, and it does add to the prestige in the player's mind. So, you know, it's a balance of all those factors, in my opinion. And, you know, really our job is, we're hosting Worlds 1 year. You know, we're not trying to plot the course for the PDGA. We're partners with the PDGA. We're looking forward to giving our input, and we're looking forward to seeing what the decision-making process looks like after this Worlds concludes. So,
well, I agree, and you know, I've talked about it a lot on our show. We're happy to be here. I've attended now, I think, about 25 or more Worlds in total. I've played in 20. I've attended at least 25 of them. And this is new, this is different, and it's exciting to see it executed. Right now we're seeing, you know, great golfers rise to the top, and we're halfway through, so there's no major shocks or surprises at this moment. I don't know if we're going to see anything major, you know, anything shocking. So we'll have to see. I'll maybe reassess 48 hours from now, but it is exciting. 4 rounds here this year, and we'll see how things continue to move forward. And it's great to hear you have your own personal opinion, but yet at the same time, you're to execute a PDGA major, and whatever that is exactly what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's great that, you know, there'll be a period to look at the results of this and see how it goes and make a decision going forward.
Okay. Well, Jeff, someone on the board said they just had to Google Smuggler's Notch, and he said, I want to go now. So good stuff. You guys have been rated the #1 family destination, family resort destination, like 2,900 years in a row.
It's 17 years in a row. But so in the winter, we're a ski and snowboard resort, and we have been rated by the voters of Ski Magazine, which is pretty much the biggest publication in the winter. So Ski Magazine has rated us the #1 family-friendly resort for 17 years in a row. And that's because we bring in, you know, the resort itself has about 3,500 beds. And we can host, you know, 3,500 people. So we fill those up on holiday weeks in the winter. And it's just a great destination for families. We've got a great ski and ride school, but in the summer we've got great programs as well, and now the disc golf community is embracing it, and we have so much room for even more people. Like last year we did over 1,200 people at the resort for our event. We're looking to grow that this year, and next year for Pro Worlds, you know, even if you don't get in, or even if you're not looking to compete on a pro level, you should come, because it's going to be a great week of vacation for people that enjoy disc golf, because not only will they be able to see the competition, but we have live music, we have craft beer, we have local food, we have a ton of other programming, we have activities for your family. It goes on, and I really think that this model of a destination facility for disc golf can really set the stage for maybe more facilities like this to grow in the future. But we hope to kind of show the world what we're all about next year, and you know, this GMC too. We want people to come up for Fall Fest this year, September 13th through 16th. But the whole week's going to be jam-packed with pro clinics, activities. You know, a lot of the festival is going to be going on throughout the entire week. So
and great golfers, and if you're not there, you can watch it on SmashBoxx and the Pro Tour. But we want you to be there because it's quite a magical place. As I've already joked on the board, I'm not paid by Smugs to give one positive word, but I can't help but spew because Smugs is really that awesome to be at, and I appreciate it. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course.
Any final, anything you want to call, anything you want to go out on a limb, talk about men's or women's winners, projections, anything before we let you go?
Well, I mean,
to put on your plate.
The one thing I would say is I think that Ricky's pace right now at 20 down is probably going to be doubled at 40. So if anybody wants to beat Ricky, I think they're going to have the better 40. And I think there's only a few people probably within striking distance of that. Okay. So we're going to need to see some special rounds. Obviously, Johnny's right there. Yep. You got a couple people that won't have to go 25 under to get there. Sure. But like Ricky could even do better than that. But I can't imagine Ricky ending at anything less than 40 under. Okay. You know, he's thrown 8, now 12. I think he's going to go back and throw like 9, 10s, 11s, maybe even 12. So it's going to be tough. And I guess that's my prediction on that side. I think, you know, obviously Paige has got a great lead through 2 rounds. But, you know, Val's defending and she's got experience. I think that could turn into a 2-woman battle, you know. And, you know, of course, everybody's going to be, you know, battling these last 2 rounds.
Yeah,
hopefully
Lisa
it's exciting.
And Sarah Hogan's right there. Katrina's not far off. They're all right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know we're 50% of the way through. That's 2 for us back home. But we're excited to see how it unfolds. And I wish you the best of luck in your caddying and any other social media that you're helping out with. And looking forward to being at Smugs twice in the next 10 or 12 or 16 months or so.
Something like that.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Again, take care.
All right.
All right, that's Jeff Spring over at Smuggler's Notch Resort. Make sure you go out and check them out. Make sure you join us, whether it's the Disc Golf Pro Tour later in the year or for the PDGA Pro World Championships in 2018. A few minutes ago, you heard some loud clapping. That was Paige Pierce. I'm not sure if she had a good round of darts here or if she maybe even took down the game. But people are getting into it. I see Kelvin Heimberg off in the distance. Also Jeremy Rusko, Robert McCall. I think we see a Zach Melton. So lots of players up here having a good time partaking in the darts room at Stillwater Taproom. Again, downtown Augusta. I'd like to thank Michael Downs and Matt, I believe was the owner, who had welcomed us here into the tap room to have our live show here tonight. So thank you guys to both of you.
Sounds like the live band took a break.
The live band has taken a break, it sounds like.
I subbed in on some darts and stunk it up, so just one round. I just had to hit some 20s, and I hit 2 1s and a 5? So I split the 20 and couldn't quite
Solid.
hit it.
Speaking of ones, what a segue, Johnny. Our bridesmaid, Jeremy Colling did it again, folks, today. It was not captured on film that I know, or tape, or SD card, or CF card, whatever you want to call it, digitally. But Jeremy Colling, again, on a card today where an ace was carded, and it again was not him. So
there were a few aces today. Kevin McCoy hit an ace. I talked to him downstairs real briefly. Okay. He was pretty excited. He had a few beverages, and he was pretty pumped about his ace.
Also, Austin Turner carded an ace. He said he splashed out, I think it was last year, he splashed out at Am Worlds a few years ago and hadn't gotten one to stick. Today he cards the ace, hole number 13, a hole-in-one for him. And Nicholas Masters had the ace on hole number 6 we saw. And I'm trying to think, and there was, as you said, Kevin McCoy. I think that those were all the aces of the day.
At least the A pool that we know of. We're not so sure about the B pool because they didn't have live scoring or hole-by-hole scoring, so we'll find out. Actually, we won't. We probably won't find out if any B poolers had an ace unless we hear it randomly. So, do we want to get into Ricky's round now? We have a little break, or should we?
Maybe not. I didn't know who else we were going to talk to. I want to make sure that we have everything squared away. We can move right into Ricky, if you would like. I'm trying to make sure we're all caught up.
Oh, it's up to, it's truly up to you. We can do Ricky, or we can try to find another interview. I haven't seen anybody. I see,
well, I know what they're gonna
Dalton
say.
popping his head in for a second. So thanks to Dalton yesterday for assembling some of our footage. Fortunately, we didn't need him today. We had a few extra minutes between the end of the round for us to shower, throw together some highlights, and then get over here.
Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy and quick turnaround these last few days. Trying to get done with what's going on at the course, and then also relocating to get set up to try and bring you guys a live show. We hope that you're enjoying it. We, of course, know we're sad as well that we can't be live during the day, but we're glad that you could join us.
I went live for 2 holes today
on
Facebook Live. It went fine until I realized I was using my company's data.
Don't worry about that.
No big deal. But then I went live on hole 10, I believe it was, the down...
Out in the corner?
One of them. Anyway, no, I'm sorry, it was after 10. I think it was because there was a backup on 10.
I think it was 11.
So it was 11, which went great until I literally took 5 steps down to the bottommost part of the course, and everything stopped. It's almost like a delineation line down at the bottom where you go from having decent cell coverage to 0. And the problem for this course is that 3/4 of the course plays along that bottom part of the course. So it's, at one point I did a speed test, I got like 5 down and literally 0 upload.
Yeah, we kind of need that upload.
That's the upload that we really need. So it was unfortunate because I really wanted to do more, I wanted to get more live than we did today. I want to do more Facebook Live, and it just isn't, it just doesn't work out.
There's a reason that.
Yeah, there's a reason why we can't be live.
For that. So. Yes, as Dan Harbeck, one of our Smashies, said, I want to talk briefly about the conditions. Again, the humidity, I don't know if it was 98% or whatever it was. It is through the roof. A lot of people say, you know, what's that like versus Wisconsin? We have humid summers sometimes in Wisconsin on any given day. The humidity is absolutely disgusting. And then the temps were in the 80s. So that made it manageable in that sense. However, when we were in Utah a few weeks ago, it was 100 and some degrees. I would take that, as they say, it's a dry heat, and it was. It's a completely different situation. So you will see a ton of players using their birdie bags. I didn't see anyone
rosin bags, dirt bags. You
all
see
those
birdie
different
bags,
things,
those
whale
type
sacks,
of things. Whale sacks,
Tina. So lots of different solutions out there. I didn't see anyone at any point today seem to be frustrated with their grip. I mean, people dried them off. I saw a lot of people using them, but at no point did anyone...
there were a few players on the card they were watching, I think it was Macbeth's card, that were having a little bit of issue with the grip on 1 or 2 holes. But, I mean, I walked around this course and I said hi to a lot of people, some high fives, handshakes. Every person's hand I shook was disgusting.
Well,
I mean, it's just slimy, and it just shows you that it is so hot you cannot keep your hands dry. So really, towels and whatever you use to keep your hands, I don't want to say dry, but even
powdered or whatever
is super important here.
Yeah, so that's something else we said. I'm going to segue right into another interesting thing that I saw today, and when I do put the Ricky's third card footage out at some point in another year, when I do put it out, you'll see this. And it was a clip I tried to get ready and I couldn't tonight. 2 or 3 different times during the round today, I saw something that's very rare, and it's equipment based. No one cares about them yelling. Very rare and equipment based. I'm going to give everyone to take a guess. So it's not towels and bags. They're rarely seen if used, and here's your hint. Here's your hint. Here's your hint. It's a rule change a few years ago made these now legal. So there's your hint. There's no prizes for this, but go ahead and post on the live chat. A rule change a few years ago made these legal to use at PDGA events.
I think I know. I'm going to guess.
Can I guess? Not yet.
Okay.
I want a few more people
on the board
to put their guesses out there. Nobody has said it yet. Not friction gloves. Gloves, that's a solid answer.
Brandon Hauer guessed mine.
Okay, well there you go. N4B1S. Sounds like you're already on the Navy on the base over there. Rangefinder.
Oh.
You are correct. It is a rangefinder.
I didn't see any of those out
Barry
there.
Schultz, a multiple-time world champion, been playing since the 80s.
Ouch.
That's
just a funny thing to say. He's old school.
He's an amazing competitor. He was using a rangefinder today.
Huh.
And one particular spot, we were on hole number 7, which is uphill, relatively long uphill. It's a par 4. It's, gosh, I want to say it's 600 or 700 feet-ish. Maybe even a little longer. No, I want to say it's only like 594, but uphill.
Okay.
He had thrown his shot, and everybody was kind of in a similar area, and he bust out the rangefinders. And here's what I thought was really interesting. Maybe Bob West Sportsman of the Year award worthy from a few years ago, which he's won. He gets out the rangefinders, he looks it up, and he says to the rest of the group audibly, very loudly, he says, about 335 if anyone cares. Because everybody was within, well, I'll say Dustin Keegan, Eagle McMahon were relatively close to him. They were just in front of him. Ricky was another 30 to 40 feet up for that drive. But if I recall the number was, he goes 335, about 335 if anyone cares.
That's, I mean, that's nice because you could take the advantage of not telling your opponents, especially on an uphill shot, which really obviously changes the way you throw a disc. Yeah, that's great.
Thought it was interesting.
It's very interesting.
Again, yeah, sportsman-like in the sense that one of them could have asked and he could have or not shared it. That could have been up to him. But I thought it was interesting that he just kind of volunteered the information. Now, again, it was uphill, so it probably was closer to a 400-foot hole.
Okay.
And the fact that the hole is only 600 or so feet and he was that far away tells you how uphill the original drive was.
It's very steep up that hill.
But I thought that was really interesting. And then fast forward, I think that was hole 7. Hole 8's a relatively short hole. And then hole 9, he had thrown a drive that went wide left. Everyone else kind of had thrown rollers, finished center to right. He was way wide left. He again gets out the rangefinders. He uses them, he gets it dialed in, he's got some trees to contend with, he dials it in, he throws his shot. He doesn't say anything this time because they're way in another area.
Sure.
He throws his second shot, and I then say to him, I feel at that time it's comfortable enough to ask after he's thrown his shot. I then say to him, just curious, what was the distance on that? And I think he said it was about 700. So I thought that was, because it's 1,000 foot or 8 or I don't even know how far.
Which hole?
Hole 9.
Hole 9.
The one that's a par 5 that we saw a couple Eagles on by Barsby, Calvin Heimberg, I think Drew Gibson and Eagle McMahon. I think those are your 5 Eagles on the hole.
Those guys throw pretty far.
I heard. So I thought that was interesting. Those were the 2 times. I feel like there was one more. There was one more time. It doesn't matter the context, but
sure.
The point is,
I find it interesting to use a rangefinder at that distance.
At 700 feet.
700 feet. You're not throwing it that far.
He bust out a significant roller.
Still not getting 700. Barry's still not getting 700 feet in this day and age. Not even with a good roller. I think Barry could probably pull out a 550, a 600 foot roller. I don't think he's getting 7.
Pew pew! Shots fired!
Just saying, Bear. Just saying, Bear. If Barry had a computer, he'd be watching this and be mad. Yeah, but I mean, it's an interesting rule change. You got to wonder how many players will actually take advantage of that in the future because you don't see hardly any other pros using them.
You don't. And there was a tournament, I don't recall where it was or when it was relatively recently. There was an international player somewhere. I don't know if it was a GBO or a Memorial. It was a large-scale event, and there was an international player that was using them, and that was the only other time that I've really seen rangefinders out on the course. So I thought that was interesting. Thought I wanted to share it with you guys again. I'll make sure to leave some of that footage in when I get around to editing together that round 3. So
okay,
yeah, it was nothing more than that. I thought it was something worth sharing for everybody.
I think we've teased people enough. I think we can get into the
we can hold them out.
No, I think we can get into some of the Ricky footage.
All right. Oh,
things are getting crazy here at the darts.
Yeah. A little bit of excitement.
Wow.
That was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Steve Story excitedly turned around to give kind of a fist pump, and instead punched a chair.
Punched a chair.
So not very bright. Thank you for volunteering and helping this week, Steve. Not very bright.
I saw Paul Macbeth punch a tree today.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he have boxing gloves on?
No.
Oh.
And I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily call it a punch. I think he more kind of just swiped at it, and I saw him kind of doing one of these numbers afterwards. But we've seen that in the past. We've seen players hurt themselves when they run into trees. I'll say this. I'm fairly certain it was. I was a little distance away. He kind of gave a little swat after a miss, and when he was walking up, he was kind of doing this. So I made the assumption he hit a tree. So if he's watching and he didn't, I apologize. But from where my position was, it looked like he'd done that. Paul struggled a little bit today. Wasn't quite on his normal pace that he wants to be. He's 5 strokes down, but as we said, with these courses, anybody's still in it.
All right, well, I think, as you said, Johnny, and Paul, also one of the few people in the field to take a par on hole number 9, the hole we just talked about.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking down the scores chart. I mean, there was only a handful or so
of the top players that took pars.
Of the top players that took 5s there. Paul Macbeth being one of them. So I think, as you said, we could get to our current co-leader in terms of Ricky Wysocki. These are a few of the snippets, not just the best shots, not the worst shots, a little bit of the snippets that I grabbed from his round today. This is going to be about 3 minutes or so. I'll kind of walk you through what I saw and keep it relative to what was out there. Just before the round, I caught up with him. This is Ricky Wysocki and a few shots from round number 2.
I'm just going to play smart out here. I think about 4 strokes back. Probably just the final round, and that's where most of the strokes are made and lost. So just got to get myself in position for that final round. On my face.
How long is the longest time the day going to be from you?
I'd say about 60 feet.
All right, we're looking forward to it.
Right at the edge of circle, Ricky.
All right, Ricky Wysocki talking about Circle Ricky, trying to get it done on hole 2 and squeak it up and over. He started with a par on 1 and that par on 2 by not getting the birdie there. He moves over to hole number 3 and gets a dot, as you'll hear Ricky proclaim every once in a while. His drive on 4. Gets him out in the opening, but here's 5. This is a downhill shot. Lots of different lines. I saw Schultz go straight at it. A couple of the other guys went out into the left. He goes wide. However, that's closer than it looks. I was expecting a long putt. He's got the birdie from there. Ricky trying to navigate through the woods on hole number 8. Gets caught up on that right side. He's going to walk away. It's one of the shortest holes, and he's going to have to settle for a par. Hole number 11 plays down to a very, very steep green. He has a great approach there. He's going to tap in for a birdie as he goes to back up the hill where there's no signal, as we've referenced. And he throws up the hill on 12. We're moving over to 13. This is again a downhill drive. One of the shorter holes again, and one of the holes you must birdie here on the back.
I saw a few people take different routes at that. We saw some big hyzers on that route as well.
Well, he cleans it up. One of the few birdies on the card. Ricky Wysocki dialed in. We move over to hole 16. He's looking at this one for birdie, and he decides to run it and leaves himself a little bit of challenge on this tester coming back. He actually maneuvered left and right 3 different times, 4 different times. He settles on the straddle to the left.
Thank you.
And that's good. He'll chalk that up as an easy par. He's frustrated.
You see him shake his head.
You take a par once in a while, buddy. I'm sorry. You got to do it.
I think that was his only par in the back 9.
His only par on the back 9, Zach Melton-Mass. And hole 15, that's a very tight fairway. I barely even caught the tee shot. He gets up and down, takes a long birdie 3. At hole 17, he's pumped. That's his approach shot to put him right under the basket. 18, again, he hurries. That's his 3rd shot on 18. He's going to walk up and complete the round with a birdie 4 to walk off of hole 18. Great round by Ricky Wysocki. That is, in fact, a 12 under par. Congrats to him. That's the super quick. Those are the cliff notes from what you saw for Ricky Wysocki. Again, we'll put it together in a longer format later. Just a few of the shots that we saw from him. I want to break those all out so that you can enjoy it at another time when we have more time to edit. I literally put that together in minutes. So
I feel bad tonight because we do not really have a lot of women's coverage as far as footage. We just didn't have time. We really, the 2 hours we had between the end of the round and coming here, we focused on the 2 men's leaders.
Yeah, we were fortunate to even have the footage that we did to be able to put that together.
Yeah, we were not able to get the women's footage. I had a few highlights, not a lot to be honest. I kind of jumped around on the women's coverage. So I kind of apologize for not being able to have as much women's coverage as we really wanted.
Hopefully in the future we'll be able to connect with, did you see McFly? You saw McFly at some point today.
I saw him.
I was going to say, I never even physically saw him.
Said hi, shook his hand. I told him the same thing I told all the cards. I said, listen guys, I'm here getting some highlights. If I'm ever in your way, just throw me an elbow and just push me out of the way, and you'll be good to go. So, but yeah, he was out there filming and doing his thing.
All right. Well, tomorrow he'll be out there again on the lead card. As we talked about earlier, we're going to see Paige Pierce, who's getting into the darts action right now. We'll see her on that lead card sitting at her 8 under par with Valerie Jenkins 6 strokes behind her at 2 under par. So I think it's safe to say that the Fort Gordon course is just a beast.
It's long, and especially in weather like this, it's grueling. There's a lot of hills to climb. The course beats you up. It wears you out, and then the further you get through that course, the tighter it seems to get. Which, literally at one point, we sat down on one of the holes. Devin Owens turns to Paul McBeth and says, "I wish I was in your shape, man." And Paul kind of chuckled. Because Paul is in great shape. He didn't look like he was breaking too much of a sweat hiking up and down. It's impossible not to, but some of the other players I saw were really huffing and puffing.
Well, it is a grueling test out here, and a lot of people that continue, as we've all talked about, the amount of rounds. Avery Jenkins is one person that I continue to see posts from who talks about these are par 67, par 68 courses. These are no walk in the park.
No, not at all.
It's incredibly hot. It's incredibly humid. Today we also dealt with the gnats. There are plenty of physical and mental challenges. These 2 rounds out here have been grueling, and it's only going to get warmer for the final 2 days.
It truly will. It's supposed to get hotter, and I think less cloudy, which is not enjoyable.
Sunscreen for this guy moving forward. I'll say this. Had I applied sunscreen, I think I would have needed to do it at least every 2 holes. I can't count the amount of times today. I was just wiping pools of sweat off me, and I know that's a really hot visual for you guys.
I wasn't doing that so much. Like, I was a little sweaty, but I wasn't like doing.
You guys managed to get anything done?
Yeah, we're getting it done. Yep.
Be careful.
Say hi to everybody.
You can say hi.
Sorry about that.
That's
Matt,
okay.
the owner, saying hi to everyone. Again, thank you for the
thank you for the hospitality.
Say hi.
Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to Stillwater.
All right, Stillwater Taproom.
That's okay. It's okay, man.
All good.
Your place, your rules.
So yes, we are very warm. I'll say this. It was plenty cool in here when we started the night. Then all these stinky hot golfers decided to join us.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to be having the dart room to ourselves tonight, but we'll do the best that we can.
The golfers follow us. What can we say?
They all want to get on the step inside the SmashBox.
Right.
All right. Can I settle a great debate about his chili, a super knot? I feel.
No, I think we had this discussion.
I know, and I was going to say, I think I feel like you have to decipher whether you're in Wisconsin and are you having Wisconsin chili or are you having what other people consider chili. By most accounts, the chili you get from Wendy's, I think, I'll name a place, like that to me is not soup. The chili that is usually made in Wisconsin is soup.
It's a little more soupy. It's a little more liquid based.
All right. They can't be the same. Sure, you guys can argue about that all day
thank
long.
you, buddy.
That's what the silly questions are.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have Philo join us right now.
This will be perfect.
He just steps right up and you
pass this on.
Okay.
That's great. Just go ahead and put that to your shirt. You'll be good to go.
Gonna clip that on. And ladies and gentlemen, special exclusive guest, Philo Brathwaite. How are we doing tonight, Philo?
Yo, yo, yo. Everything's going good. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good to have you.
Thank you. It's nice to be back.
So, I'm not going to let you take over the podcast like you did at GBO, but I appreciate you doing the work while I got to enjoy myself.
For sure, man. Anytime. Glad to fill in.
All right.
Good time.
Philo, let's get to it. Let's talk a little bit about the scores here today.
Yeah.
Second hottest round in the A pool. You tied Chris Clemens for a 10 under, and the second hottest round of the day, only to be bested by Wysocki, who's leading. Let's take a quick look at your card. You even had a minor blemish there. 11 birdies and 1 bogey. Not bad.
Not bad, yeah. I finally played like myself again. I shouldn't say finally, but got back into my rhythm and just grinded out a solid round. You know, I had that 1 bogey on 11. I hit a tree in the middle and then got up in the middle of the fairway on my second shot and kind of blew the layup and had a putt for par, but just laid it up because it's kind of a death putt.
It is, yep.
Just like I'll just donate that stroke and earn it back on the way out. And sure enough, I did.
What I'll say to that is, that's such a pro tip. That's a pro thing to say. You were looking at possibly throwing away a stroke or two, and you said, I'm going to take my medicine here.
Yeah.
I'm playing well, I'm shooting well, I'm feeling good. Let's not throw an extra stroke or two away, and I'll make it up a hole or two later.
Yeah, I mean, this is a major. You're going to take bogeys. It's nice to go bogey-free, but it's rare, you know. You're going to have a shot or two that get away from you and may leave you in a predicament. And after 10 years, 11 years being on tour, you know, it's like sometimes those strokes at the end of the tournament, you look back and you go, man, I didn't have to do that.
No.
You know, and so I just try to eliminate. I mitigate those silly mistakes and just take the medicine.
Yeah, that's all right. As you said, you don't have to do that. You can, because at the end of a tournament, even a 3 or 4 round tournament, and sometimes you look and you see, oh man, I took second by 2 strokes, but you can think of the 3 times you gave one away.
Yeah, smart time.
It's a good way to look at it.
I try to play smart. I don't have a whole lot of firepower, you know, to like really out-throw my card members. Most of the time, I'm just trying to play placement shots, play smart. Yesterday, my big downfall was my putting, which was kind of a surprise.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I just spent about a half an hour after the round and tried to get my rhythm back on and just left it. Went and played a round of ball golf, eased my mind, and came back today, just went straight to the putting green for my warm-up and got back to that same rhythm and then just like stuck with it. Didn't question myself and played a really... Actually, I only missed 1 putt today. That was a big part of my round. Yesterday, I think I missed 7 or 8 putts.
Okay.
And today, I missed 1 and it was from 60 feet and I was like, I can live with that. Everything else was in. You know, if I ran it, it went in. So, good day on the putting green. My drives were pretty crisp and yeah, it's what you need. You know, it's what we all need. That's what we're all trying to do.
Well, right now I see you're sitting at 13 under par. You're currently tied with Austin Turner, Peter McBride, Michael Johansson, and that is in fact your card tomorrow. It looks like at 10:20 it's going to be Lance Brown, yourself, Austin Turner, Peter McBride. That's a pretty laid back group.
Yeah, I mean,
you're pretty laid back yourself.
I try to be. I get a little feisty out there, a little intense when I'm beating myself, you know, but that's kind of like, I think that propels me to play well when I have that fire. If I get too relaxed and get into too much of having fun and joking around with guys, I feel like I lose my focus. And I even notice sometimes I'll crack a joke and then just brick my next shot, you know, because you're supposed to like, that space between, you're supposed to kind of zone out a little bit, but I feel if I get too relaxed, then my shots become too relaxed.
Yeah.
So having that edge kind of helps me play
Now tomorrow we head back to the IDGC. We're going to play over at Jackson course again. You said it was your putting that kind of let you down a little bit yesterday.
Big time.
Is there anything about the course whatsoever? Will you be happy with the same game plan, just putting better?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I threw in the fairway like 80%.
Okay.
And then I wasn't getting up and down a couple of times, and then sometimes I got myself in position to score, and my putter was just off, you know, and so it was a little bit frustrating. I did have a few silly bogeys, mostly on the putting end, but yeah, I mean, if I can execute off the tee the same and clean up the putting, it should be, you know, 61, 62, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is I know a lot of people don't talk about a specific number because you don't want to get fixated on it, but good to know that that's what you'd like to see out there.
Yeah. My goal today was to shoot 8 under. I saw the B pool shot 8. I was just thinking, if that guy can do it, I can do it.
Yep.
So same thing for tomorrow. I saw the majority of the field that was at the top was 60, 61. If I do that, that's good. That's a competitive round, and I can live with that.
What's your highest finish at a World Championships?
I think 10th or 9th at Portland a few years ago.
Okay, 2014.
Yeah, it's been a while. Worlds has always been a tough tournament. It's just so many solid players and usually really difficult courses, you know. And you got so many people playing. You're going to have those, you know, look at the leaderboard. Yeah. It's just, you know, big pods of guys. You make one mistake and you go back 10 guys.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to try to stick around this time.
All right. So it's kind of a hot question for a lot of a hot debate, I should say. So I'll ask you, is 4 rounds enough?
That's a great question.
And 4 rounds at these courses, maybe that's the distinction you make.
That's a tough one, man. I mean, it does feel pretty similar to a national tour or an A-tier or whatever, you know.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of used to the marathon of the worlds,
okay?
You know, and I kind of like that feeling of having that extra round or two to get back into contention or to make up some ground. But now you don't really have time to relax. You don't have room to have a bad round. You can have a slow round, but man, the pressure escalates just a little bit more.
Compacts it.
Yeah. It's tough to say what I prefer more. I mean, this one's not over yet.
Nope.
You know, we're halfway through, and I feel like I'm in a good spot. I mean, I kind of miss playing more golf, but in these like weather conditions, I'm actually kind of thankful that it is only 4 and we're 1 round per day.
And you're
I couldn't
a
imagine.
SoCal guy.
I like hot.
I
like hot. I think I play better when it's warm. You know, when I get cold and I'm all bundled up and layered.
So what about this hot? How does this hot feel?
Well, humidity's different because I'm used to dry.
Exactly.
You know, and it does take a little bit more of a toll because you sweat more, which means you have to drink more and you have to think about drinking more water and, you know, staying hydrated. When it's dry, you don't really think about it much.
Yeah.
You know, not for me anyway, but when you're sweating excessively just standing there, you know, it's like, I need to drink a bottle of water before I fall
right
out.
now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it is different. It does take a different toll on your body. The humidity and the sweat and the heaviness of the air can wear you out if you're not getting good rest, eating well, staying hydrated. So it is a different element to deal with, another obstacle we have to go through.
So you've had 1 round at each. I'm sure you ultimately scored better today.
Yeah.
But, you know, that aside, maybe. Do you like one course or the other a little better?
Honestly, I thought Jackson would be the easier course to score on.
Okay.
I just like the setup of the holes, and it seems like if you can execute fairway shots and land in the middle, like you should have an angle. There's only 2 holes that I can think of where I'm kind of like, all right, I landed in the middle, now what? Which is kind of unfortunate, but we're all playing the same holes, so I guess there's no reason to complain about it.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, those first 9 holes at Fort Gordon are pretty gettable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of birdies to be had, but there's also some danger depending on which route you're trying to throw. So I'm really surprised actually that the scoring was lower today. You know,
really?
I thought people were going to shoot. You know, I don't know. For some reason, I thought Jackson did what we're going to kill it. People were going to kill it over there.
Huh.
I don't know. It's weird.
Fair enough. So
yeah,
I'll follow that up. You shot a 10.
Yeah.
You had that 1 blemish. You played really well.
Yes.
Can you say anything to Ricky's round? He was he was only one down after 4 holes. He started out really slow, getting, parring 3 out of the first 4. Anything about the 12 under? Does that surprise you? Maybe
with Ricky? No, nothing ever surprises me with Ricky.
Okay.
That kid's, not a kid, young man, whatever you want. He's solid. He's got every piece of the game that you need to be successful. His sidearm, his backhand, his putting. I mean, obviously, nothing surprises me.
Fair to say he's going to be hard to beat.
Always.
What about Johnny McRae? Johnny McRae, long-time player here. I think his wife said he's 45. Right. Obviously eligible for Masters. Won Masters last year. He's going to go play Pro Masters Worlds in a couple weeks. But here he is tied for the lead halfway through.
Anything can happen.
It's safe to say you'd love to be playing his golf at the age of 45 yourself?
I would love to be playing Johnny McRae golf when I'm his age. I mean, actually, somebody brought that up earlier, and I said he gives me hope. I've been hearing a lot of stories of inspiration, from the albatross shot and how I've inspired people. Watching Johnny McRae is an inspiration.
He certainly is. How old are you now?
37.
37, all right. So
no spring chicken anymore, but I still got some game.
You certainly do. A few years from that Masters
I'll be
talk.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun.
What do you think about that Masters talk? Some people maybe are saying, and McRae's maybe proving it, maybe Masters should be 45 or 50, no?
I think 40's fine.
Okay.
I think 40's fine. It gives those guys who maybe physically didn't, stay as agile, a chance to compete with guys on their level.
Sure.
I can't think of too many Masters guys that are going to run with Ricky and Macbeth and Eagle and Simon
on a regular basis.
I mean, Johnny's an anomaly.
Yeah, he really is.
I mean, it's like what Champ was doing, up until a couple of years ago. He was keeping up and running them. And yeah, it's tough to do. Youth is something special. When you have youth and agility, definitely makes things a lot easier.
Well, good. All right, Philo, anything you want to share with the world, or Smashies, anyone from the PDGA and beyond, anything you'd like to share? Any exclusives you need to be giving us here on SmashBoxx?
Well, I just want to say a big thank you if you guys are out there that were a part of supporting the Team Philo epidemic with the Star Destroyers, the Swirly Stars. I mean, I got a nice chunk of love today, and I want to thank you guys so much for supporting, for buying them however you got them, whether it be from the Innova Pro Shop or if you got them from a retailer or bought it on a raffle or whatever. I don't care. I think it's super awesome. I love the support. It means a lot to me man, it's really a dream come true to be at this point right now. I didn't know 10 years ago if I was going to be able to make it, in this sport, and I'm making it happen, and it's taken a lot of work and a lot of dedication, but it's starting to come together, and it's really a lot about the fans really supporting me and cheering me on and sending me all those positive messages and following on Instagram and on Facebook, and all that stuff really does bring my whole portfolio, make it look better to my sponsors, and it gives them something to say, we want to support that guy, and it's really about the fans, That's why I spend so much time trying to connect with them whenever I can, because they're such a big part of my success. So thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. I really don't have much other news. We're heading off to Europe, I guess. That's pretty cool.
It is.
Monday, heading off to Iceland for about 5 days, then Norway for 10 or 11 days. We're doing the similar high energy tour we did last year in Finland.
Awesome.
It's going to be off the charts. We're looking forward to getting back over there, working with the new and up-and-coming talent over in Europe. The fire's strong. They have a passion to learn. We're excited to go there and share our knowledge. And then obviously European Open a couple of weeks after that, and back to the grind when we come home.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. I've seen you. I've been around watching you. I watch you come into the game. I've watched you been grinding it out, playing all these big events, and performing very well. And then seeing your success on the course, and then obviously the Albatross, and just so many things that continue to fall out. You have a very impassioned, if that's a word, set of fans and followers that truly love your down-to-earth nature and everything that is about your being, and we love seeing it, man. And
it's a blessing. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean,
no, it's great.
What an awesome journey this has been, and it's awesome to be a part of this journey with everybody, to be one of the pioneers. And just like you, we're all trying to get to the same place, and we're not sure how it's going to happen, but we're going to get there one way or another. And I'm not going to stop doing my part until we get there. I don't think you are. I don't think any of us are. We're all in this mission together.
We are.
Keep supporting disc golf, keep watching videos, keep liking, keep following, keep sharing. We're going to get there, people, and it's really up to you guys to help us get there. So thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Again, Philo Brathwaite. He shot a 10 under par today, the second hottest round out at the Fort Gordon course. He feels like his putter's back on point. I'm excited to see how it treats him out there tomorrow at the Jackson course.
Yeah.
Thanks again, buddy.
Cheers, man.
We
Thanks
appreciate
again.
it, man.
All
Have
right.
a great night. I'm going to grab this
everybody.
from you so you don't run off. There we go. Have a good night. See ya. Hey. Again, Philo Brathwaite, Team Innova, and very much appreciate him stepping in and joining us and give us the info. Checking up on the board to see if there's anything else out there. Cool one. Thank you. Says Terry always looks at the camera and nods his head when his interview guests are speaking. Very pro move. Well, thank you, cool one. I do my best to do what we can. I love interviewing our players, our ambassadors, our PDGA representatives. There's just so much going on, and I have to echo everything Philo said. You know, we're doing this because we love it. We're going to keep grinding. We're going to keep improving, and hopefully everything continues to grow and go from there. So, who's creeping? That's Steve Story. That's what he does. Steve Story, the creeper, is out there. So we'll see. We may talk to him. We may talk to Michael Downs, possibly from the PDGA here. I know he's doing a lot of things, and we'll see if we can get some insights out of him. Sounds like things are a little bit quieter out there. The band is going into the more their mellow songs. All right. So all right. Well, that works as well. So again, I want to mention, as we close out the show tonight, whenever that's going to be, maybe sooner than later, but whenever we do close out the show, we're going to again give you the Johnny McRae footage raw. And then we're also going to give you some Ricky Wysocki footage raw. We'll give those both to you, and then you'll be able to watch that yet again. So if you missed it, it'll be all there as we close out the show a little bit tonight. Johnny Bigfoot, appreciate it. Gave us the super chat. Very much appreciated. If you ever want to comment officially read or seen by us, there's a super chat feature right there on YouTube. You click on the little $sign and contribute anything you'd like. He says, keep grinding, guys. And
do you want to sit and have an interview with Seth at all? I don't know if we have time.
Do you want to do it? Do you want me to do it?
I'll let you do it. Yeah, it's easier. Do you know how many of you people know Seth? I believe his last name is Muncie. Yep. He does Disc Golf Strong. He's partnered with Dynamic Disc. I just sat and had a really great conversation with him about the future of disc golf and fitness. So if you got a couple minutes, you want to sit and chat with him?
Am I the right guy to be
You are the perfect man to talk about. So I'm gonna bring Seth in. I'm gonna let you talk to Seth here, just real quick about Disc Golf Strong.
All righty, sounds good to me.
Why don't you go pin that right to your chest hair or whatever you have there.
Whoa, getting a little handsy here. Johnny gets handsy after a few.
There you go.
All right. Seth joining us from Disc Golf Strong.
Good to see you.
Since you haven't interacted a ton with SmashBoxx, I know you work with a lot of other groups. Introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Seth. I run Disc Golf Strong, and it's all about helping disc golfers play strong, healthy, injury-resistant disc golf as much as we want and as long as we want. So I work with a few of the players on keeping them strong and healthy during the season, and also put out information for the average disc golfer, for disc golfers of every skill and ability. So we want to play disc golf forever.
Well,
right?
and thank you for everything you're doing. Seth, at one point today, near the end of the round, he said, Terry, you drinking water? I haven't seen you take a drink. And I really appreciate that, because I'm not usually good. I'm so caught up in what I'm doing that I don't hydrate myself nearly as much as I should. So I appreciate it. I was trying to stay on top of it today. So, and I'll quickly segue. The abundance of water, we've talked about the heat, the humidity, and the gnats and everything else. The abundance of water that's been at both courses is a direct result of Swami and his efforts, along with Zach, the TD, and Michael Downs, and all of the staff and volunteers. It was just disgustingly hot and humid out there today, and there was water on every hole. And if there wasn't water, there's a sign that says, please text this number that this hole is out of water, and they'll bring out more water. So kudos, hats off, everything. Wow, just amazing. Okay, so go on.
And that's super important, because hydration
when you start to dehydrate, it starts to affect your ability to think properly, to quickly. It affects your muscles. It affects everything. You start to cramp, and it doesn't take a lot of dehydration for that to happen. As soon as we start to dehydrate just a little bit, we start to lose some of that ability to process, because the brain's already working hard enough, and when we're not getting enough fluid, then we can start to get foggy and everything. It doesn't take much. So if you start to notice that you're not sweating, then that is not a good thing.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure. That's why I was keeping an eye on you. I was like, he's working hard out there. And I was like, I'm just going to watch him, see if he takes a sip of that water. And so I'm glad you did.
Well, thank you. And yesterday, Melody Bailey posted to her Instagram or Facebook or both, saying that she was really hot at the Jackson course, playing in the women's division. She was really warm there, and at one point, I think to help cool down, she consumed a whole bunch of really cold water, and she was saying that maybe that adversely affected her. I mean, you think cold, refreshing water is great, but it almost maybe shocked her a little bit because there are two extremes. Is that possible?
Yeah, when you drink something that's really, really cold, it affects your blood flow. So it can like bring your blood flow from your limbs back to your core to try to warm you back up here if you go too cold, because there's also a nerve that goes down called the vagus nerve, and and it affects our body. And so when you drink that cold water, too much of it or too fast, it can start to affect that nerve, and it can bring blood flow away from the limbs to the midsection. And so, yeah, you don't want to drink too much cold water too quick.
Okay, and you nailed it perfectly, because as I saw her walking up hole 18, she was kind of holding her stomach. It wasn't from a lack of consuming water. She just apparently had too cold of water, and it kind of shocked her in that sense. So a lot of people are asking, not that I feel like I need your credentials because you're clearly fit, but what is your background in fitness and everything else so everyone knows?
Yeah. So a couple years ago, I used to be in the military. After that, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and so I used the GI Bill and decided to go to school, to college. I got my degree in exercise science, kinesiology, from Cal State Fullerton, and I went through there, did 4 years there, and then during my senior year at Fullerton, I worked for the Anaheim Ducks NHL hockey team. I was their intern strength and conditioning coach for a year and a half.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, working with the athletes in season and off season, pre-season. And then after that, I decided to open my own gym. And so 4 years ago, I opened my own gym, and I worked with all populations, get people moving better, feeling better, trying to stay injury-free. And I just recently closed that so that, for two reasons, so that I can be home with my kids more. I was working 12, 16 hours a day, and I have two little girls, so I wasn't seeing them. Plus, I'm just really passionate about what I'm doing with Disc Golf Strong, and I wanted to be able to invest more time in that.
So, when I introduced you, we were talking about your involvement with Disc Golf Strong and who you currently are working with. Where do most people, where can they find you or hear you or tune in or subscribe, or where would we normally find you?
Yeah, so the best place to find me is my website, discgolfstrong.com.
Okay.
And I'm going to be posting more stuff on there. It got built by my buddy Juan over at Overstable Studios.
Okay, yep.
So he did a great job. Thank you, Juan. Yeah. And so he built that. So I'm going to put a lot more stuff on there. I've got videos. I've got a free ebook.
Okay.
That's a warm-up. It's the warm-up I use with like Sarah Hokum and some of the other players that I'm working with. They go through that warm-up every single time, because if there's nothing else you can do, if there's nothing else you do, but just start to implement a warm-up before you practice or play, like that is like the #1 thing that can help increase your performance. It can help decrease your injury risk. And then also I have my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, the normal social media stuff that I post videos on and everything. So that's the best place to find me.
Okay, good. Now, Philo a few minutes ago said he sometimes feels like he plays better in the warmth. Is that maybe because he gets looser quicker, or is that maybe just something he's mentally adjusted for himself?
I think both.
Okay.
I think both. Absolutely, playing in the warmth will keep your muscles loose. It'll keep the blood flow moving to your limbs. When it gets cold, the body's main priority is to keep your torso warm, your heart, your lungs, everything. So if it's cold out, it's going to start to take blood away from our extremities and bring it to the center. Okay. But if we're playing in the warm, then it's not dealing with that, so it starts to be able to send blood out to your extremities. But there's also people who tend to feel that they play better in the warmth. There is a huge mental side to that as well. Because on the flip side, there's people who they feel that they've had some bad rounds in the cold before, and so it starts to get
Chalk
in
it
there.
up that way, yeah.
So there's both sides of that, and mental affects physical for sure.
And I'll say this: living in Wisconsin, playing for 20-some years in Wisconsin, I feel like, especially when I was at my most competitive stages, I never ever let the conditions or the even forecasted conditions bother me. In the sense that I was like, oh, it's going to be 10 below tomorrow? That's fine. And I literally have played in that. That's fine. I'm just going to be more prepared than the next guy. I mean, to have the hand warmers, or I'm going to layer correctly or whatever. And Ricky said that tonight as I closed out an interview with him. He had said, yeah, it's hot out here, but I can't focus on that. It's hot for everyone, and we all have to play in it. So I'm not going to, he said, I'm not going to look at it as a bad thing. And I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Because I can complain all day long about the heat and the humidity, and it doesn't really matter. But our players have to step on that course thinking, hey, bring it on. We're ready to go today.
Absolutely. Sports psychology. I did a few sports psychology classes in college, and my professor, one of the best sports psychologists in the world. He worked with the Blue Angels, he worked with MLB players, NFL players, SEALs, everyone. I mean, the stuff I learned in there about how much your mental preparation and how much your confidence level can affect your game, your ability to go out there and just relax and just do what you know how to do. But if you start dwelling on that stuff, it's gonna affect you. It's gonna create tension in your shoulders and your back and everything. It's gonna cause you to make shots that you don't want to make.
Okay. Well, I don't prep for the shows. Maybe I should start doing that. I don't know, maybe I won't. All right, we like to keep it loose here. Is there anything else you want to say to everyone? I know you kind of just told us where you're going to be at, but or where they can find you. Anything else you want to share with everyone?
Yeah.
Maybe one pro tip before we, besides the obvious warm-up?
Yeah, so the warm-up.
Or not so obvious?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, there was a study from the University of Arizona that came out a couple months ago, and it showed that there's roughly an 83% injury rate in disc golf. And that is huge, and so we want to combat that. We all want to play as much as we want, like I said earlier. We want to play as long as we want, right? We don't want to stop when we're 30 or, I'm 35, and I want to play till I'm 75, 85, right? And as in disc golf, we can kind of sometimes think that we're not athletes unless we're at the top level. But you're an athlete. No matter if you're playing this weekend at Worlds or you just play weeklies, you're an athlete. And even if you don't think that, your body, when you go through that move, it's going,
athletic.
Your body's going, this is an athletic move I'm going through right now, right? And so we've got to prepare, athletes prepare their bodies for what they're going to put it through, right? And so the biggest things is to, once we start thinking of ourselves as athletes, and start putting in that preparation, right? We're going to start seeing better gains in performance, less injury risk, and I get a lot of people asking me. They'll email me and stuff, and or message me, saying what should I focus on. The biggest things right now is, besides the warm up, is core strength. And mobility of your shoulders, mobility of your hips. And another thing is I've gotten from, I've heard people said, well, why do we want strength? like I don't, you're not going to bench press a disc down the field, right?
Sure.
And I completely agree. And I don't use bench press for anybody for exercise, right? But why do we want strength? Because we want to create a buffer zone. I did a video the other day on my Facebook page about this. Is that our tissues our tissues, our ligaments, our tendons, our muscles, all that. There's a threshold of what they can sustain. Okay, there's a limit. Now there's tissue load, and then there's the ability of the tissues to withstand that load, the capability, the capacity. So if our tissue capacity is here, and the load that we're putting on those tissues, whether they're tendons or their ligaments or their muscles, the load is here, and it goes above that capacity of those tissues, that's injury. Okay. If they're here, that means we're like rehabbing. Okay. So the more strength you can get, and that doesn't mean getting huge. I'm not a huge guy, right? That's not what I'm working on. That's not what my athletes work on, right? It's just trying to create a little more capacity than load, and so what that is, that's a buffer zone, right? Because if I've trained my tendons and my ligaments, my muscles to be able to withstand this, but in disc golf I only get up to here, I am farther away from that injury risk, right? So those are the big things, because in disc golf we want to first come to that area where we start looking at rehabbing or prehabbing our bodies and preparing for movement. Yeah. And once we start to accept that, and I think I definitely start to see it, a lot more people are reaching out to me about doing that, the better we're all going to be, because we're going to be playing this game and we're going to be enjoying it with friends, and that's what it's about. It is. If it's not on here, it's being around your friends. Stress, getting away from the stress of work. The stress of being home all the time. It's getting loose. It's still being competitive, more than just in high school or college. There's so much behind this wonderful game, and so strength and fitness and stuff can help with that.
Awesome. Well, again, this is Seth. Go out and check out discgolfstrong.com. You can find it all out there. People can reach out to you in a lot of different ways. You said you're on all the social media. You also frequently work with DD at Disc Golf Answer Man, is that correct? Yeah. Those hacks over there?
Yeah, I know, for sure. And if check out DD. I did a partnership with them for a 5-part video series on their YouTube channel. So it's 5 videos. I go through mobility, I go through strength, stability, all that. So I show a few exercises that you can do in each of those. So check that out. That's on their YouTube channel, because even if you just start there, that is a great place to start. Because it's all about starting. It is. Just start.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you.
Hey, thanks for
being around. And then I see you working and talking to a lot of our top pros. He knows what he's talking about. So go check him out. Use him as a resource. And we'll have to have you on some other time in the future, and we'll talk more about it.
Yeah, it's great.
All right.
Great seeing you.
Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Here, let me grab that so you don't. There you go. Johnny, do you need to check the battery on the camera?
No, it's plugged in.
Okay, then never mind.
Nope,
all right,
we're all plugged in, so we're good to go. Yeah, I ran into Seth out there, and I figured, you know what? Now's a good time to have him on. He's, you wouldn't believe. I'll say this to everyone out there.
I'll drink to Seth. Thank you.
There's a few tips to Worlds. One, go to the parties that they have, like things like this. There are so many business deals going on behind me that you wouldn't believe what's going on. Like,
I see stuff going down.
Yeah, like
I see Michael Barnett of
talking with Rusco.
And I see a Cool Daddy Slick Breeze in the distance.
Yep.
There's stuff going
Jeff Strong,
down.
the TD for Next Year's Worlds, talking to Michael Downs. They're talking media stuff. You will learn and get a better inside scoop from this stuff behind the scenes than you'll get anywhere. And I'm not gonna lie, the what they call it, liquid courage, it tends to lubricate people's mouths. They talk a lot more.
I've heard.
That's what I've heard
from others.
It's just a good tip in general, especially you see some of our top pros. Some of them show up. You got Simon and Paige. Some of them prefer to take it a little easier and focus more on the golf. Like, you won't catch Ricky out at this until probably after the event. Paul, same thing. But if you're coming to Worlds and don't plan on winning, make sure to hit all these extra stuff that all these TDs and tournaments put on, because you will meet and make so many connections that it is really kind of ridiculous. What are we getting on the board?
People are razzing me for my beverage choice, and that's fine. I'm not a hardcore drinker. We've talked about this countless times.
Did you messaged Nate Doss earlier about what beer you like? Did he respond?
I don't know that he responded. I
talked to Dalton, who was a little upset that you didn't respond to him. And
I apologize.
He left.
Oh, sorry, Dalton. I'm sometimes not very good at stuff.
But no, I talked to Seth about things that I think disc golf could really capitalize more. I think more like a live live workout sessions, kind of like we do a live podcast. They could do live workout sessions, and we just see Speedy Guerrero stepping in from the Hall of Fame,
curator of the PDGA Hall of Fame,
and a lot of things like that. That I think our sport, there are still boundaries that haven't been hit yet. There are so many aspects and avenues that we still can really take advantage of for people and companies. So, are we almost ready to wrap this up, I think?
I'm sure, unless there's anyone else we need to talk to.
I don't believe there is. I think this room is mostly cleared out. All we hear now is the band. I think we're doing pretty good. We can wrap up with that Ricky footage.
That works for me. We hope that. And why don't we leave this open for you guys for just a couple of minutes to ask any other questions that you guys may have. I think we've covered all the major happenings here. We've got the women's race again. Paige Pierce, 8 under par total, extended her lead today. From did she double her lead from 3 to 6 strokes?
Yep.
She's now sitting 6 over Valerie Jenkins, who's sitting in 2nd place solely. Elaine King had a rough day, fell back a few. On the men's side, Ricky Wysocki had the hottest round of the tournament, shoots a 12 under par, which will be released sometime later, not tomorrow, because I recorded it.
He'll be doing it tonight. I'll make sure of it.
Yeah, I will not. And then we also had a great conversation with Philo, again tying for the 2nd hottest round of the day at 10 under par. We saw 3 aces or 2? Nicholas,
3.
Masters,
Kevin McCoy,
and Kevin McCoy.
3.
So 3 aces at least that were taking place in the A pool. So congratulations to all of them. The tee times are posted for the PDGA. That's good to go. Jomez and Central Coast and Prodigy are all working on their respective footage.
Yep.
You should see all of those out probably mid-morning. So look forward to all of that. Gosh, I feel like we've covered everything. Stillwater's been a great host. I don't know what's going on downstairs. Did you look downstairs?
No, I didn't. I heard we originally were talking about having Sarah Holcomb come on. I think she's kind of tied up doing some stuff, so I don't believe. Well, maybe if we're lucky, we'll get her on tomorrow or the next day.
Okay, so Prodigy is covering FPO. Elaine King did fall off a little bit. The verge of removing myself. Wow. From society. Okay,
make sure
Seti.
After this podcast, everyone go over to Murder Mike and tell him how much better we are.
Yes, yes.
Tell him you're no SmashBoxx.
I'm going to say this again. I wish our show could consist of just babbling about stuff we don't know what we're talking about. Because I love you, Murder Mike and Carl. I do. But you guys should get some facts together before you go live. That would just be my friendly tip. Murder Mike called me a few days ago, gave me some insight on information, and we chit-chatted back and forth, and I have to all but roll my eyes when I see some of his posts, because sometimes his posts like to roll off without any facts.
Oh God, facts are optional.
Totally optional. All right. All right, one more time. I'll give away a Lat 64 Compass if Rick wins live on SmashBoxx. Well, Disc Golf Nerd,
thanks, DGM.
I'll give away $1 million if he wins live on SmashBoxx, because it's not going to happen.
Even hole 18.
Hole 18.
I did not check.
Tested 18.
Did you?
When I tested 18, hole 18.
I didn't. I forgot.
A few weeks ago, a month ago. I was even like, oh my God, even the final hole doesn't seem to hold it. So probably not going to see hole 18 live. Probably. Yes, Ragna's playing.
Ragna's awesome. Like I was telling Terry, as I walked up to Ragna's card, they were laughing and joking and funny. Anyone that has a child will know there's always funny baby stories that come along. So she was sharing those. She was kind of laughing that with her group, she'd only shown she thinks 2 baby pictures during the round, which was a low for her. So good stuff.
She is back in the hunt and in the swing of things, so we're looking forward to seeing her return this week. I'd like to see Simon put himself in position. I don't think that's out of the question. Does anyone think Devin Owens could win? Absolutely.
Yes.
It's only a few strokes off the lead. There's no reason why he couldn't. Lauren says the most laid back, I say, is Madison Walker and Big Germ in terms of most laid back pros.
Most laid back? Simon is right up there.
Simon's pretty laid back during a round on the course. Okay. Well, you could go with that if that's what Lauren thinks. Disc Golf Nerd clarified, if Ricky wins, he'll be giving away a compass for us on our show.
Yes.
I got it. All right.
And I think what I want to do, make sure to remind me, Smashies, make sure to remind me, Saturday I'd like to grab at least 2 or 3 discs, have them signed by the champions. We can give those away to some of our Patreon members so that we can do, a 2017 Worlds giveaway. Obviously, if you're a Patreon supporter, we always like to make sure that you guys are taken care of. So I will work on getting some signature discs from our champions.
All right. The question asked is, could Katrina win? Is she still in the running? She absolutely is.
As we've said, these courses really set up for anyone to show up at any given time. All it takes is the leader to have an off day, or anyone underneath of that to get hopped.
Yes. So, you hear Von Beezy one says, heard you have an awesome disc golf collection. What's your most valuable disc in storage? I have an older USDGC Rock that was a 1 of 14. It was a white on white embossed. I know a couple of them sold back when they first came out. One sold for like $850, another sold for like $950.
I told him to sell them at that point. He wouldn't.
I didn't sell it. That would definitely be a valuable one for sure. Who knows what it's really worth. I've got a pretty extensive USDGC Rock collection, a lot of the older ones. I've got a good number of CE discs. Yeah, I would say a lot of those would probably be some of my most expensive ones. Good question. Someone asked about mixed doubles footage. My plan is to get at least the second round. We'll see about first round, but at least the second round of mixed doubles on Sunday. It's never been done before that it's taking place after the event. It's at the Steady Ed Hedrick Memorial Course at the International Disc Golf Center. I will be planning on filming at least the second round of the mixed doubles action at the Steady Ed course. So look for that. I think I still have last year's round.
And I have, I'm not flying out till Sunday night here in Augusta, so I'll as well, maybe you'll be lucky, you'll get 2 camera coverage for that.
Maybe.
Or 1.5, because I'm not the best cameraman.
Manabu, I didn't see how Manabu did today, but I'm guessing he had a little rebound if I would have to guess. Now Rick is in the lead. He'll turn into super conservative layup boy. If he can't do that. Now he's tied for the lead and with
Johnny
a lot
Mack's
of great
there.
people still very close. He can't just lay up. So that's not going to happen. Current price of Bitcoins.
My quarter
Live.
Bitcoin's worth about $680.
I have an Innova Raptor. That's a good disc. All right. Joe PG says he sold an 02 for $750. Can Germ and Paige be beat? Absolutely. I mean, I don't say that to second guess them. They're clearly a powerhouse team. But I think on any given day,
Dawson Val,
a Val, or a Cat and a Yuli, or there's a lot of great doubles teams out there that on a course that's as wooded as the Steady Ed course, I think anything can happen out there.
Is that where they're going to do the doubles? Is the Steady Ed course?
Yep.
The same one that they're used to play, right?
Well,
no, they play Jackson, so the Steady Ed course is different.
So that's another reason why it didn't happen before the event, is because they didn't want the players to go have to learn and play a new course that they weren't going to play during competition.
Well, that makes sense.
So I thought that was really well thought out and actually a really good idea. Because if you want to be competitive during the mixed doubles, but then you're playing an entirely different course, so they decided not to do that. Okay, so Manabu is tied for 51st. Didn't have quite the rebounding day I thought he would.
No, I would say of all the players, I think, and no offense to Manabu, but I think he's having one of the more disappointing rounds for him based on he's like the 5th highest rated player in the world, 6th maybe, and he just isn't competing at the level that I think he wants to be. You know, a lot of our high rated players aren't as good as they want to be this week, but really he's the one person I was really hoping to see shoot better, and I know he obviously was, so we'll see.
All right. No, Big Germ and Paige are not dating. I've got other inside info that I can't share, but those two are not dating. Johnny V says he's dating.
I was dating Germ, actually. It's a rough ride, but we'll see how it goes.
All right. Have you any Laurel Springs Open disc, Terry? I do. I have a super old school AVR. I think it's a white, stiff, big beat AVR.
Von Beasy says, do you think tournaments should move to a more wooded course in order to reward a skilled throw, or are they too hard to film? I'm going to go on a small limb here and say wooded courses aren't... Longer wooded courses are harder to film because you do run into more shots ricocheting off early. But if par 3 wooded courses are relatively easy because you know where they're going to throw it almost every time. But you're right in that I like a good mix of both. I think the Fort Gordon course is a really good mix of courses. I'd like to see maybe one more big open hole, but ultimately I think Fort Gordon has almost everything you want.
It's definitely got length, distance, elevation, OB. It's got just about everything but water out there, but plenty of other.
Now, there is even water on one. If you go down far enough past one of the baskets, you can find the 2 holes. I'm being told there's water possibly coming into effect.
Yes, you are asking 1,000-rated questions, Von Beasy. Thank you for that. And here's one other quick side note that I was going to say. A lot of times people complain that we go to, we'll say the Memorial, and they say it's a big hyzer fest. Everybody just throws big hyzers. It's so boring. There's no trees. Here's what I found interesting today. We're out on the course, I'm filming these players, and the first thing they look for is the big hyzer that avoids all the trees. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I understand there may be an excitement level there, but we see on like hole 10 at this course, the very first thing that they do is they want to take all the trees out of play. Barry Schultz didn't. He went right down the gut, but all these other players want to take this big, massive hyzer and take them out of play. So it's funny to hear when people talk about wooded versus open. And then Eagle McMahon also on one of the holes today, on one of the shortest holes on the course, was lining up a forehand shot and he was lining up a little hyzer. And he really contemplated. He ultimately, with a forehand, spoiler alert, he shanked it. Shanks the forehand, and he said to himself, I should have just took the hyzer, which I think is a tiny hyzer. Eagle McMahon.
Eagle, okay. Well,
He's
Eagle's
like,
got the distance, he should have.
Yeah, but it's a 200-foot hole, 300-foot hole.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
so he was looking at this tiny hyzer hole, and he opted not to take it, and instead he went with the forehand. So kind of interesting. Some insight while I'm out there filming and taking it all in when everybody talks about various hyzers and hyzer fests.
I did a poll, a very, very legitimate poll, and said, formal. Do we want to have Sarah Holcomb on the show? Unanimously, they said yes.
Sarah.
So we're going to pull Sarah Holcomb here, and
Holcomb with an L.
Holcomb with an L?
Holcomb.
It's Holcomb.
Holcomb.
It's actually, little known fact, the L is the beginning. It's silent.
Yes.
A lot of people would think it's before the K, but it's not.
No. All right, you joining us?
Come on in, Sarah.
All right, Johnny's going to step out. Exclusive Sarah Holcomb guest here tonight, folks. We didn't know that we were going to have her. She's here.
Surprise.
Welcome.
Thanks for welcoming me.
We are glad you're here.
It's a good day. It's a good day.
You heard me just a moment ago kind of elaborate on this whole hyzer concept and forehands and in the woods and everything else. How are these two courses treating your game?
I mean, it's woods, so I like it.
Okay.
You know, they're tight lines, so, you know, they're directed. You have to be a shot shaper. You know, Fort Gordon adds the ups and downs, the elevation changes. And those downhill, you know, tight lines that you have to land on a sloped fairway are really challenging.
They are. Well, it was a few tournaments ago, I believe it was back at Waco. Paige Pierce had said to you that she saw you shape shots and throw the disc with angles she's never seen before. Very impressed. You feel some of that for Gordon? You feel that out at Jackson, that you're taking lines and angles that a forehand maybe has an advantage on, or no?
I mean, simply just the fact that I can, just face my target, and I feel like I'm more accurate with the sidearm, than, someone who's relying on, their run up to with their hips and, this angle that they think they're throwing, but they have to turn away from, I mean, in general, I think that the sidearm is more beneficial, but, downhill shots, downhill turnovers to the left, that's like death to sidearm. So there's a couple of those out there. I'm throwing a roller on one of the holes out there to deal with that downhill left turn, and a couple of them I'm just basically laying up.
Sure. Okay, playing smart. Well, I want to talk about your play today. You tied for the second hottest round of the day. We saw Paige Pierce with a 6-under, and then yourself, along with Valerie Jenkins, pulled in a 3-under par. And I'm just checking down the scores. It looks like you ultimately had 5 birdies and 2 bogeys, including a solid finish with a birdie on hole 18. Give everyone the cliff notes of your round out there today.
It was pretty boring. It was a lot of I had a lot of opportunities, a lot of jump putts just outside the circle that I didn't have opportunities to make. I wasn't making, easy pars. The couple bogeys I had were, they're kind of fluky holes. I actually, the first bogey I had, it was hole 6. It's a beautiful downhill par 3, 440.
Yep.
It's kind of out of reach for me, but it's it's one of those holes that I think I can get an easy 3 on. And my whole card just shanks their drives. And I nutted it. Perfect, right in the fairway. And it's a downhill slope, so you can't see what the disc does afterwards. And apparently my disc rolls off into the rough. And my competitors made some amazing ups. These blind Annies and this other blind sidearm, right there. And then I have this one branch in my way. I hit it. And then I bogey the hole.
So hole 6, if I'm thinking of the correct hole, you said it's the downhill. I saw on our card, the third card that I was following on the Open Men, I think 3 of the competitors went up into the left. Maybe does that sound right?
Left side
huge
flex.
Left side flex shot, and then Barry Schultz, a rock
up the middle,
hypes it, leaves himself.
Well, you have those options.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's do you like to throw hyzer flips, or do you like to throw this flex? And then for me, it's do you want to nut it down the center, or do you want to throw the safe,
way wide out?
Wide.
Is that just a little bit too much distance for you to take the wide route?
No, I take the wide route, but I don't expect to get to the pin.
Okay.
Yeah, if I took the center route, it's possible I could get there. But I think it's too risky.
Yeah.
The hole's got so much danger on every side of it, and if you're off the fairway, you have no shot.
Yeah. So I
take the safe route and go for the 3, and it didn't work out for me today.
Well,
I felt I nutted the shot. I was sweet. And I get down there where's my disc? Oh wait, it's over there in the rough. Oh shoot. Dang, fail.
So tomorrow you're back at the Jackson course. We're looking at seeing you on the lead card. It's I want to double check here. Again, we're going to have Pierce, Jenkins, Ficus, and yourself.
Yep.
And it sounds like a great group. Competitive,
yeah,
but friendly, real good group.
Yeah, really good group. We got, Paige killing it. Val's got the amazing upshots. Lisa's got both sides. I got the sidearm. We'll have a whole mix of stuff going on there.
Well, we spoke with Seth earlier, talking about fitness. I know you've been talking to him quite a bit.
No,
and someone just
Seth
asked, let's talk a little bit about the tape and kind of what
I
you
wear
got
it
going
out.
on.
It's the cool thing.
Oh, yeah. If you go out in
think?
downtown Augusta and you're not sporting
if you don't have the KT tape. This is actually the P-Tex.
All right, looking for a sponsor.
Generic brand.
Sponsor call out, looking for one. So
tape's expensive.
It is. So tell us about that for those that are familiar with it.
So for this, it connects all my shoulder muscles to my back muscles that like to not do their job. So my trainer explained it to me. Well, Seth explained it to me shooting a cannonball off of the ground when my tape is there, versus shooting it off of a rowboat. when my tape isn't there.
Ah, okay.
Like, I don't know where this is going to go.
Sure.
Kind of thing.
So, okay,
yeah.
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, you know, and I'm working on, you know, the activation of these muscles, and there's all sorts of little things that we're doing to tweak my training, my throw, everything to make sure that I'm healthy.
So needless to say, as we just had him on the show, he's been a great asset and resource for you.
Oh yeah.
Good.
No, I mean it's actually phenomenal. You know what he's doing with disc golf and his level of understanding of the body and biomechanics and the way that the disc golfers function. And I mean his explanations of some of the things that have been some of my issues in the past have just they just open up the world to me, like, oh, you know, like, I don't even need to consider surgery. I don't need to, like, these are not things that are an issue. It's more like just things that I can control. You know, he puts the ball in your own court.
Good. Now, have you had a history of injuries in the past, or maybe dating back to your college sports and other sports, or
I mean, I was
anything
actually
lingering, or
you know, I've been one of those athletes that's been blessed to not be very injury prone. You know, most of my contemporaries in college, like, they had a lot of injuries that kept them out of the game, and I was one of those few athletes that the injuries I had were just nagging. They weren't game changers. So honestly, these last couple of years in disc golf has been the first time I've dealt with injuries that have kept me out of play.
Okay, yeah.
I've always been resilient, you know. I've always been able to, like, I can play through this, I can play through anything, you know. And so taking a couple months off last year in the middle of the season was really tough. And then this year dealing with the same injury and now handling it a bit differently. And, you know, I mean, it's part of the game, and I can chalk some of it up to my age, but it's also part of, you know, just being an athlete and just doing these motions over and over again. And Seth has really just taught me that, like, I can work through all these things, and I think anybody out there who's having nagging injuries because of disc golf can find solutions.
Exactly.
You know, like, that's one of the great things about disc golf too. You don't have to give up on anything. It's a matter of form and technique and just doing rehab and icing and making sure you're taking care of your body.
So a question I'm sure you get asked quite a bit. I know you're not doing anything major probably during this season, or certainly during necessarily any given one event, but is working on and continuing your backhand, is that something that is at the forefront that you worry about, or is that something that can be put to bed? I mean, a lot of people always ask about your backhand. They're very concerned for some reason, even though you're a world champion forehand thrower. But a lot of people feel like that's...
I get so much hate mail about that. I'm like, bro, like, get over it. Like, so many people throw only backhands and have zero sidearm. Like,
myself included.
It's not that uncommon to have the other and not the other. But that's okay. You know, y'all just, I know you're just jealous. Whatever. I don't know. Haterade.
No, it's true though. You know, it seems like people are like, well, if you
I just brushed that dirt on my shoulder. It's all good. You know, but no, for real. Like, I do work on it, and it's just, you know, like, for instance, at a tournament maybe about a month and a half ago, I threw a third of my tee shots were backhands. You know, so, like, I do throw it. Like, it's just limited in range, and it goes pretty far, and it's coming along, and I'm never gonna not keep working on it. I do work on it, like, all the time. Sure. Actually, and sometimes because of the injuries I have in my sidearm, I have to limit the amount of sidearms I can throw, even to the end. I limit them to like a dozen in a day. So, like, I might play a practice round and I will only throw 12 sidearms, like, literally.
Oh, wow.
Like 12.
Yeah.
You know, and then all those other ones, I throw backhands knowing I'm going to throw a sidearm in the tournament. You know, like, I mean, so it's not something I'm not working on, you know, but it's certainly, like, to get my sidearm to the kind of precision, or my backhand, excuse me, to the kind of precision that my sidearm is at, it's going to take a few more years.
Correct.
You know, and so I throw the hyzer. I have a hyzer. You know,
a sharp and a very sharp and specific hyzer.
Yeah, and I can throw a flat shot, but I don't really bust it out in the turn. I did throw it at the Beaver State Flings.
Okay,
I threw a putter. I threw a putter on the west course on hole 4. I think I might have. I had a birdie putt at least both times.
Wow.
Even though I don't
That's
think I made it.
interesting
But
there. Is that too much? Is it just a little?
It's a weird sidearm hold. I usually actually throw a tomahawk there.
I can see that. Okay.
But I conceded to the backhand this year. Like a couple of my, Mello, one of my practice buddies, she helped me a little bit with this. She's been like coaching me a little bit, and like gave me some confidence to throw it. And I threw quite a few sidearms or backhands on the West course out there at the Beaver State.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like I think like 3 or 4. Yeah. So,
perfect. Well,
there you go.
And you answered it. I feel like you already answered the question. Cool One asked and said, an advantage of forehand looking toward the pin compared to backhand looking away. Does that help on tight courses? And I think you said that
100%.
earlier.
Yeah,
when we go out to Jackson tomorrow, you're looking at your target more often than not. And I think that absolutely helps you out there, for sure. All right. Anything you want to share with the world? Disc golf or otherwise?
Man, you know what? I'm happy to be here. I'm glad that the World Championships are being hosted at the IDGC and in this area. It's cool that it's a different time of year. Mm-hmm. So our majors are being spread out a bit.
Yep.
I think the new format is, and I'm not hating on it.
Okay.
I don't have strong opinions on it either way.
Fair question. Yep.
I think it's great that we have 14 women's tees out of 36 holes.
Yes.
I think that's a move in the right direction. I think that it's nice that they have
14 total women.
There's 4 on Jackson. I think there's 10 on the
I didn't know it was. I'm sorry. I for some reason I had heard 4 and 4.
No.
Oh, okay.
The other course, the Fort Gordon course, has a bunch that we play a shorter tee.
Well, thank you for.
It's almost half the course. It might only be 8, but I was thinking it was 10.
Either way, it's more.
It's either 8 or 10. It's definitely more than 4. Yeah, it's quite a few. And that's appropriate.
That.
It's appropriate.
Good.
Yeah, it's very appropriate.
Making the round more competitive and more to suit and challenge the women and the skill sets that they bring here.
Absolutely. It's really no fun throwing a distance drive off of every tee, and and it's unfortunate that I think that because we don't have so many opportunities to showcase other skills, that too many women just develop one shot. This anti-flex distance shot that this is throw it again, and then we're gonna throw it again, and then we're gonna throw it again and aim at something else. So it's great to develop the versatility in the women's game by giving us the opportunity to showcase our fairway drive skills and some of the other skills that we have or maybe that people don't have and that some people do have. It's not all about the distance flex thing.
I totally agree.
Anyway,
and we saw some of that today.
It's been fun, and it was great to see some like Elaine up at the top.
Yep.
Sarah Lamberson shooting a really hot round. A bunch of players playing some great golf out there, and I would really love to see the fans out there supporting the entire women's division. We have seen some high margins with Paige. But guess what? 2 through 20, they're great golfers.
They are, absolutely.
They really are. They're throwing really, really great shots. I'm not even talking about myself. I feel like I throw great shots, but all these other women out there that people don't necessarily get to watch all the time and don't get showcased like the rest of the women, they're great golfers. And it would be, I love to see such tight margins in other parts of the game, and I would love for the fans to start to really just pick up on that and appreciate all the other ladies out there.
Well, hopefully there will be a great opportunity tomorrow. Of course, if you're anywhere near here, we expect you out at the course, taking it all in. The women tee off later tomorrow, so you have no excuse in terms of timing. Get on out here. What is it, a Friday?
It's
Perfect
a Friday
afternoon to take off.
1:10.
And join us.
The women tee off starting around noon.
Exactly. So come out, enjoy an afternoon round
Watch
at the International Disc Golf Center.
There's some good stuff going on.
Lots of golf. There's the men. You get done with them. There's lots of women, or watch the women instead of the men because they'll have plenty of coverage. There's going to be lots of good golf out there.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, and thank you all for tuning in, and thanks for the support. I'll just be soaking in them good vibes.
That's what she does. She takes it all in.
Anyway.
All right, dear. Thank you so much. Your 2012 world champion, Sarah Holcomb, with a silent L, she tells us. How tall are
I
you,
won't
Sarah?
drop. 5'10".
5'10". See, my guess was correct. All right, again, Sarah. Thank you for Sarah joining us. And what is in the background? Well, we're here at the Stillwater. We're upstairs, which we're at Stillwater Taproom in downtown Augusta. This is the PDGA banner that is behind me at the moment. Oh, you may have seen for a moment Marty Gregoire creeping on the outskirts.
He wanted to pretend he was me. He's not that. He's not nearly that cool.
Give me the glass.
He's not nearly that cool.
Gregoire, do you have anything we need you to share with us or not?
He says no. Right. He's good.
All right. He has promised full live signal tomorrow and Saturday.
He's a human antenna.
Double live.
Double live.
Normal live plus future.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
that Von Beezy, that was in fact Media Marty who was standing in the background. He couldn't see himself because it was a static image, so he didn't know he was in the frame.
How was your interview with Sarah?
I don't know.
Was it okay?
She's meh.
I mean,
she's so high maintenance and difficult to work with and talk to. I mean, seriously.
I know. I can't believe it.
If she would only be a little nicer and friendlier. All right, just kidding. All right, guys, I think we can call it.
I believe we can.
It's been a really, really good, fun night with lots of great insight.
We'll be live tomorrow at the IDGC again, hopefully right around 9 o'clock Eastern time. There's always a little bit of wiggle room we like to give ourselves in case anything happens. But
if you know what I mean.
there's no beer at the IDGC. What are you going to do?
It can be brought there.
That's true. Good call.
Or something. So yes, we're looking at approximately 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night, just like we've done the last 2 nights. We hope that you guys have enjoyed the show. It's all available in our regular audio-only version. So if you need to re-listen to it or watch it again, you can certainly do that, or tell someone else where it is. It's obviously always archived right here on our SmashBoxxTV YouTube account. So please feel free to reference it or let people know that it's out there as well. Tomorrow I'm going to be out getting some action. Johnny's going to get some, and we'll have more for you tomorrow night when we are live from the International Disc Golf Center. So
for sure.
I'll read the last few messages.
There wasn't anything worthwhile.
Seti, thanks for being here, and all of you guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Another really sizable crowd tonight, and we look forward to seeing another one tomorrow. If you can, get out to the IDGC.
If you're watching
say hi.
right now, you're my favorite people.
You are our peeps. Straight up favorite peeps or something. All right, again, we promised it. We're going to close it out. We're going to give you some Johnny McRae shots today, as well as some Ricky Wysocki shots. And after that, we'll be gone for the night. So thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to the PDGA, all of our sponsors, supporters, everyone here, all the volunteers making this World Championships a great one here in Augusta. So for Johnny V and myself and everyone at the PDGA World Championships, we'll see you guys tomorrow night, when you can again step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you.
Good job, John.
Thank you. Smash it.
Oh, God.
Come on, man.
All right, Johnny, we just got off the course. You are currently tied for the lead with Ricky Wysocki. What do you attribute that to this round?
Ricky shot really well, so, and he caught up to me.
Caught up to you?
Yeah, and I don't know I didn't get to see him play, but I'm sure he must have shot really well, which I'm glad. So glad I get to play with Rick, and that's what this is all about, is playing with the best players in the world and trying to do your best. So I'm excited. I'm ready for tomorrow. I got a game plan. I'm ready to go.
All right. The weather. There's been a lot of talk about the weather. Do you feel like it's giving you any sort of advantage over the other players? Because you're used to this type of humidity and heat.
Yeah, I don't know if it gives me an advantage, but it's beautiful out. It's nice. It's not even hot, really. Everybody who thinks it's hot, it's in the 80s. It's not even in the 90s, so it's not even really hot. So yeah, I hope it turns up to about 95. That'd be great. Let's go.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Into round two, Ricky. What's the game plan?
I'm just gonna play smart out here. There's, I think I'm only 4 strokes back, long ways before the final round, and that's where most of the strokes are gonna be made and lost. So just gotta give myself in position for that final 4th round, and I'm on my pace to do that.
How long is the longest putt of the day gonna be from you?
I'd say about 60 feet.
All right, we're looking forward to it.
Right at the edge of circle, Ricky. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
Don't hit it. Get. Sit. Thank you.